certain times we're in. Subscribe today. Learn more about bricks, industry leaders, and their market predictions for the future, along with what you might expect to see in terms of precious metal performance in the weeks and months ahead. Message and data rates may apply.
Speaker Mike Johnson says he talked with President Trump ahead of a Friday deadline to reauthorize part of a law that allows warrantless wiretapping of foreigners overseas. He says the president supports short-term renewal. Democrats and some Republicans oppose it unless Trump chooses somebody else than a loyalist, Bill Pulte, to be acting director of national intelligence. There have been 115 confirmed deaths from Ebola in the Democratic Republic of Congo out of at least 598 cases confirmed so far, say Congo health officials. Federal law enforcers were today at the Southern California aerospace plant where a chemical tank overheated last month, forcing 50,000 in the area to evacuate.
Federal agents arrived at GKN Aerospace in Garden Grove executing a federal search warrant. First Assistant U.S. Attorney Bill Azelby says his office, along with the FBI and EPA, are looking for possible violations of the company.
We have an obligation to figure out whether any crimes are committed.
A tank with 6,500 gallons of a highly toxic chemical became unstable last month, causing the tank to heat up, posing a risk of a massive explosion. Eventually, the tank cracked, allowing pressure to release, and the danger subsided. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Scientists have unearthed communities of marine life, including jellyfish, tube worms, and brittle stars, thriving in a millions-year-old whale graveyard in the Indian Ocean, formed where whale carcasses fall to the floor. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Hot summer days and high energy bills are on the way. Upgrade your home's old leaky windows this month during Window Nation's Buy 4 Get 4 free sale. Yes, half of your new beautiful energy efficient windows free. Plus no money down and no monthly payments or interest for 2 years. Call now 866-200-8670 or windownation.com. In select markets, trust our family of brands, New South Window and ArmorView. That's 866-200-8670 or windownation.com to book a consultation.
If you're talking, they will hear you every single time.
Oh, we're getting killed.
Yeah, well, Kyle's not here.
How come?
Kicked off the team. Didn't Tim tell you? Kyle and some other kids got caught drinking beer in the park a couple of nights ago.
Really?
Yeah. Zero tolerance. He's out for the season.
Come on, it's a first offense, right?
That we know of. But why should that matter? He knew not to drink. I've made it clear to Matt that's what we expect from him. What have you said to Tim?
Nothing really. You know, a lot of kids try it at this age, so...
Yeah, well, a lot of kids don't try it too. I'm not saying that Matt's gonna be this perfect kid, but if I don't tell him what we expect and why he shouldn't drink, how's he gonna know?
You think kids that age really listen?
They never admit it, Bill, but they hear more than you think.
Talk. They hear you. For more information about talking with kids about underage drinking, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
NASCAR champion Bobby Labonte here with my brother Terry and my nephew Justin. You know, every sport has its essential safety gear.
For racing, we wear helmets, fire retardant suits, and Nomex gloves.
For fishing, waterfowl hunting, and boating, we wear life jackets.
After an intense race, there's nothing more relaxing than bass fishing.
Or a little duck hunting on the lake.
But we're the first ones to tell you, on the track or on the water, accidents happen fast.
In a crash, there's no time to put on a helmet. And when a boater capsizes or is thrown from the boat, there's rarely time to reach a stowed life jacket.
But today's life jackets are lightweight and comfortable. Fishing or hunting, they don't get in your way.
That's why you won't catch a Labonte on the water without a life jacket.
Don't let us catch you either. Remember, you're in command. Boat safely.
This message brought to you by the United States Coast Guard. For more information on boating safety, visit www.uscgboating.org.
Weather sponsored by the Piazza Auto Group.
We could have some showers this evening, cloudy overnight, low of only 71. Tomorrow we're going to see that heat advisory kick in. We should get up to 95 with some thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening. And on Friday, high 96, partly cloudy. Saturday, 90, sunny, a little more bearable, less humid.
Visit Piazza Honda of Philadelphia, Langhorne, Pottstown, Reading, or Springfield to take advantage of 2.99% financing for 36 months on the popular 2026 CR-V and CR-V Hybrid. Shop online today at piazzahonda.com.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10.
Some of these problems are easily correctable. We could see significant improvement. Nothing is ever absolute. Nothing could ever be 100% yada yada. But man, we could have so many different better things if we just had that same mentality of, oh, we're having guests, companies coming over. Let's get it together and make it look like we have our house in order. When we know Philadelphia as a city does not have their house in order.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app. WPHT, WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. Lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
He knows the crew. Matt and Justin, that is. Join Tom this Tuesday and Wednesday on Talk Radio. 1210 WPHT.
Welcome to the afternoon show here on Philadelphia 1210 WPHT. Shout out to Newman Price for that great intro song. You know what? He reminds me of Phil Spector, the music producer. Without the murders, of course. Without the murders. What a heck of a job he did. I am Tom Azelby. I am your afternoon host today. You can listen on Odyssey, iHeart. You can stream it on YouTube. You can call 855-839-1210 if you want to get on the air to argue with me, agree with me, whatever. 855-839-1210. You can hear me every Saturday at 8 to 9. Where I wrap up the news of the week, bring on some interesting guests. Coming up after me at 6 o'clock is my friend Rich Zioli. You got his podcast from 6 to 7. You got Barry Sable doing the afternoon show tomorrow from 3 to 6. I want to welcome, why would I welcome my producers? My producers for the show today, Matt Desantis and Justin Otero. How are you, boys?
Hello, Tom.
It's another day in paradise.
There you go. You know what? Another day in Paraguay. It's 95 degrees up there, right?
It looks like it's about to rain, although it did bring a rain jacket, which means that it will not rain. So you're welcome, Philadelphia. I've been lugging around this thing all afternoon, and I know it'll be for no reason.
Yeah, but that's pretty warm, 95. So I'll compare it to down here. I'm in South Florida, so it's 86 degrees. But 95, that's pretty hot for June up in the Philly area. That's what it said on the broadcast just a minute ago when they were giving the weather. That being said, I am making my way back up to Philly shortly. I'm actually headed out tomorrow. So you guys are going to have to work hard today. I never consider you guys producers. I look at you as my co-hosts and my contributors. You're going to be working extra hard today because I'm headed to Anguilla tomorrow. And I'm already thinking about I'm going to be doing nothing down there. Actually, I'm going to a big party down there. I'm actually pretty pumped with my college buddies and their wives and stuff. But I will be making my way back up to 1210, back to the studio. Hopefully I'll get there. I will get there, and hopefully I'll get into the studio with you guys, get to see you in person, and we keep I'll make you keep contributing and working as my co-host, which I love to do. Anyway, about that, I don't know, any rumors about a welcome back party for me up there?
Well, it's a surprise party, and it's very secretive.
Is it? I'm just guessing, but Pyramid Club, the Cigar Lounge at the Union League, that's what
I think we're hitting Barclay Prime at some point, getting some Wagyu steaks, yeah.
Yeah, well, talk to the chairman of the board. I'm sure he's booking it all for me right now.
Most definitely.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. I'll make sure you two are invited to the event that never happens. Anyway, let's. What am I? You know what? We got a lot to talk about today. And then you guys broke the news today that Justin is Gen Z, and he's not a millennial because then it kills my concept of the millennial roundtable. That's where I bring you two in for commentary. So you're going to have to do me a favor, Justin. You're going to have to start wearing a tweed sport coat and grow a beard. And then
I already got the beard taken care of.
All right. Well, get that tweed sport coat on. Then no one will question if you're not a Gen Zer. That's what you'll actually they'll think you're a boomer. Actually, if you're wearing the tweed sport coat. But anyway, just wear it. It'll look good. It'll make the show work. That's all I care about. Who do I got coming up today at 3:30? I got Kurt Schlichter. He's a retired U.S. Army colonel. He's a senior columnist for townhall.com. I've had him on the show before. I think I've only had him on once before. He came from Breitbart originally. Obviously, he was over in Iraq, and he's got a great resume. He's a lawyer. He writes for townhall.com, and the guy never holds back. There's no sugarcoating. He's just going to tell you exactly how he feels. That's why I love to have him on. At 4:15, I'm going to have Brian Toohey on. Now, Brian Toohey is a retired Port Authority police officer. He was a lieutenant. He retired as a lieutenant. But I want to talk to him about the 1993 truck bomb that went off in the North Tower. This is obviously, 8 years before 9/11, if you just do the basic math. The reason I want him to come on, I want him to kind of tell us about that day. And the reason I'm doing that prequel, is that what you call it, a prequel? Prequel? Like setting you up for something else. Matt, this is when you jump in.
I think you used it properly. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Don't be afraid to correct me. I like when you, like I said, jump in. Like I started doubting myself on that word. So anyway, I'm bringing on the Lieutenant Toohey because I'm going to get into Dr. Adam Hamaway, or it's Hamaway actually. You can't correct me on that one because I phonetically wrote it out. Hamaway. He's the guy that just won not the seat. He's the Democratic. He won the primary, so he's going to win. What am I talking about? The guy's going to win. It's a totally blue area in New Jersey near Patterson and Montclair. But he's connected to the blind sheik who was sentenced to life and who has now passed away in prison. But this future congressperson, Dr. Adam Hamaway, was connected to the blind sheik. Were you men? You guys knew about that, correct?
Yeah, I've been following that race pretty closely.
Yeah, that's all. I'm gonna give it a fair kind of. I don't want to say I'm putting him on trial, but I'm gonna look at both sides of his life. But it's pretty interesting what people do know and what they don't know, and I'm gonna cover a lot of different points, the good and the bad. But in the end, I'll tell you right now, I am surprised a guy like this could actually go to Congress and be a representative in the United States Congress. That being said, he has some other things on his resume that are positives, but we're going to dig into that. Then at 5:30, we're going to lighten it up. We're going to do a little NBA championship talk. That game's going on tonight. Mike Spenley's coming on. He's a former sports announcer. He used to be the ball boy for the New York Knicks when they won the championship back in 72 and 73. But we have some tie-ins together that I'll share with the audience. So I thought it'd be fun. He'll give an overview of what he thinks is going to happen in tonight's game. And of course, I'll also add myself to the story because I like to do that. So we do have a couple of tie-ins. And that's the guest list right there. And I want to start off talking about Senator Tom Thune. He's the Senate Majority Leader. So we're going to kick it with him. And let me tell you, everyone's sitting in their car or sitting at home. Anyone's listening, oh, Tom Thune, that guy looks like a bore. He does look like a bore. And I think he's a bore. And I also think he might be a problem for Trump. And that's what we're going to talk about. So I'll try to make this Tom Thune as interesting as possible. Let's play a clip about him and the SAVE Act.
But anybody who follows this process closely knows that we don't have the votes.
And the only way that you could figure out a way to get the votes, and even in that case, the Save America Act didn't even get 50 votes last week on the floor of the Senate. But even if you confine it to just the two issues of photo ID and citizenship in order to register to vote, on those two issues, it takes 60 votes in the Senate. The only way you could get there is to undo or get rid of the legislative filibuster, and there aren't even close to the votes here in the United States Senate in order to achieve that. So it's an issue we all agree on. We're all for it, and we've all voted that way. But it's not something that we're going to be able to get done absent having an election and electing some more Republicans.
Okay, so here's I think Tom Thune, and I said this. I think maybe said last week on the show. You're going to have the corporate country club Republicans. They're going to be coming for Trump once he starts getting into this lame duck area. They're going to try to start pulling their old power back because they've been on the sidelines for so long, just listening to Trump and MAGA and in what direction they want the country to go. Now, Senator Thune, forget about the SAVE Act for a minute. I'm going to get into a couple other things about him. First of all, I think he's kind of soft. He was a basketball player, though. He's like 6'4". He's a tall guy, but he actually looks like he fell out of a country club. But he's actually a small town kid. He doesn't have country club roots. His dad was a football coach. His mom was a librarian. He's unlike McConnell. People aren't talking about Thune. You think he's new to the Senate, like we keep hearing about him, but I'm very wary of him, as I was McConnell, and he was one of McConnell's deputies. So right there, that's another negative. And here's another big negative. Right after college, Thune went to D.C. as like an aide, working on someone's campaign. So the bottom line is, here's a guy that is part of the Washington institution. He's always received a taxpayer check his whole life. And believe me, whatever culture you work in or what you do, it becomes, I'm not saying 100%, it becomes who you are. It becomes part of how you think, how you act. It's just the way you are. And that's part of why I said he looks like he fell out of a country club, even though he doesn't look like that. He didn't come from that, I meant. He came from very blue-collar roots out in South Dakota. But he's been in Congress 29 years. He was 6 years in the House, 23 years in the Senate. And he might not have fallen out of a country club, but he went to the greatest country club in the world, and that's the U.S. Senate. That place is the most dignified country club. They got great health benefits. They got a great gym. They probably have great lunches. That place is only 100 of them. It's not like the madhouse over in the House of Representatives. The Senate is where you go. That's why Joe out there since he was 29 years old. He didn't belong in there either. No, he didn't belong in there at all, but he was able to hang it. So once you get into that country club in the Senate, you never, ever want to leave. And that's kind of, I get a little bit of that feel from Thune, that he's more interested in the Senate for himself. Not, they all try to say, I'm trying to preserve the Senate, the rules and all that. Well, we might get eaten alive with that. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. That's about these recess appointments. Trump has about 30 judges he needs to get appointed. And Thune is kind of like, I'm not going to allow recess appointments because George W. was able to get 2 recess appointments. So that goes on recess, you can and they're in for automatically, then it's almost impossible to pull them out. And I'm not going to go through all the loopholes and how that works, but that's 50,000 feet. That's how it works. But after George W. did it, the Senate years ago made a procedural agreement that they would never be out of session and they would always leave some guy. There's some loophole that there would, but it's allowed. These recess appointments are allowed, but the Democrats closes. That way no one could, and this could show you how they talk about things to come through, and that's, that kind of like cordial gentleman's business. Well, that's long gone. That doesn't exist in America anymore. And you got to play the game that you're in. You got to fight the fight you fight. If you're in the boxing ring, it's a lot different than if you're out in the street. And we are out in the street right now. So Thune is sticking with this pro forma thing where you can't do recess appointments. And that's very country club thinking, not street fighting thinking. And this is what bothers me about it. Democrats are talking about making Puerto Rico and DC states. They've said it out loud. If we get back into power, Puerto Rico and DC are becoming states, and we're going to get 4 Senate seats. The Dems are talking about adding justices to pack the Supreme Court. They're publicly speaking about abolishing the filibuster. Some have even brought up changing the voting age down to 16. So my thing about Thune and his country club thinking is when Democrats come back in, the least of your worries are going to be about breaking that pro forma rule and not breaking that pro forma rule so you can get these recess appointments in. No, that's where it's going to go. Once they take over, who cares? They're going for everything. And you're worried about this rule? It's ridiculous. Like Thune thinks these are honorable people that he's dealing with. They've told him to his face that they're looking to make Puerto Rico and DC states. They've told him that would add, he knows that adds 4 Senate seats for them. He knows that they've told him he wants to pack the Supreme Court, but he's not going to make a move and add this pro forma nonsense and do a recess appointment, send the Senate home, and then let Trump get these 30 judges in. Because once they get in, they can't get them out. They get appointed for a year. And I really question, I don't like to call people names, but he's, I will call him a name. I'll call him a beanpole. That's such an old word too, beanpole. I'm calling him a beanpole because he is tall. He's like 6'4". He looks thin. He's a basketball player. It's a great old term to call someone. It's not that offensive being called a beanpole. What do you guys think? Is beanpole that bad to be called?
No, because we didn't have to dump it or anything. So as far as I'm concerned, go for it.
You know, we'll any tall guy that comes on the show or a caller, and if we know he's tall, we call him a beanpole. It's very, I don't know what it is. I have a funny story about a guy being called the beanpole, but I can't tell it right now. It'll take too long. And listen, I don't like name calling about people's looks or appearance, but sometimes, Thune, I got to call him something. So we're going to just run with the beanpole. All right. Well, I threw it to the Millennial Roundtable, and it seems like you guys came up with a vote. And the vote was beanpole is acceptable.
Yeah.
So,
acceptable in our eyes and the eyes of the FCC. It's a win-win as far as I'm concerned.
Of course. Listen, I'm very aware of what the government could do to me if I say the wrong word. Very, very familiar with their power. And once Trump's gone, I'm a dead man. Meaning once the left takes over, because I'm a host here, they'll be coming for me. That's like me thinking that you guys are all throwing me a big party at the station when I come back from Florida. Meaning they don't really care who I am. But anyway, coming up at 3:30 is our guest on the line. Should we go to break for our guest, or should I squeeze in another topic?
Let's go to break, and then we'll come back with Kurt.
Okay, we'll be coming back with retired Colonel Kurt Schlichter. We'll be back.
Hi, this is Joe Mederchik, PNC Bank Regional President. People ask us, is PNC just a boring bank? Well, that depends. Is starting a business boring, or being the first person in your family to go to college? For nearly 160 years, we've done the hard and occasionally boring work of banking to deliver brilliant results to our clients. To see what boring banking can do for you, stop into any of our local branches right here in the greater Philadelphia community. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Did you feel that drafty breeze from your windows this winter? Yikes, it was scary cold. But just as scary is that you now know that your windows will let in that hot, humid air all summer. Let PJ Fitzpatrick help reduce your utility bills with custom-made, double-insulated replacement windows. PJ provides peace of mind with a lifetime guarantee on materials and labor. Plus, PJ Fitzpatrick has a variety of financing packages that work with any budget. You can have it all. Visit trustpj.com today today for your new windows. That's trustpj.com.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
For years, Gone South has been a podcast about crime in the American South. But for our new season, we're widening the lens. Through deeply reported, narrative-driven stories, we're digging into the myths, scandals, and power structures that still shape the South, and, in a lot of ways, the country itself. Follow and listen to Gone South Season 5, an Odyssey podcast, available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your shows.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Lenseek.
One of the most highly anticipated IPOs is on the way, with AI startup Anthropic announcing that it confidentially filed its IPO papers with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Anthropic didn't release any financial numbers, but it recently raised $65 billion, giving it a private market value of $965 billion, making it more valuable than rival OpenAI on the private market. I'm Jason Brooks.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
I finished a 5K in 94th place, right after a man wearing jeans. They still gave me a medal. I don't want a reward for doing. I want a reward for dominating. Like daily prize match on Bet365. I play for free and win real rewards, like up to $5,000 in cash weekly. Unlike that joker in denim. Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically present in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. T's and C's apply.
This is a special notice to all U.S. taxpayers with back taxes owed to the IRS. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, you may now be eligible for relief through current IRS initiatives for struggling taxpayers. In some cases, taxpayers may qualify to reduce as much as 99% of what they owe. You may already be experiencing wage garnishment, liens, levies, or audits and be unaware of this important information. Call Guardian Tax now to see what relief you may be eligible for at 800-404-6851. By taking action today, you may be able to stop all collections and resolve your tax problem before your tax problem gets worse. Tax experts are standing by to review your case and fight to slash your debt dramatically. Don't let your tax problem get worse and miss this time-sensitive opportunity. Check your eligibility with Guardian Tax now. Call 800-404-6851. 800-404-6851. That's 800-404-6851.
Epic parties start at Staples. Now you can grab Party City balloons, decorations, and tableware, plus matching custom invites, banners, and more right at Staples. That was easy.
Now back to the Piazza Auto Group studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. This is Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Welcome back to 1210 WPHT. This is Tom Azelby here on the afternoon show. Coming up, my next interview, I'm going to be bringing on retired Colonel Kurt Schlichter. He's a senior columnist at townhall.com, and he's always a good guest. He calls him as he sees him. But before I bring him on, I want to talk about something that's what I call MAGA Epstein, MAGA anti-Israel, it's now even there's some anti-Trump MAGA. I mean, so today they're all worked up, all excited, and they're talking all over X and social media that the Department of Defense, the U.S. Department of Defense, and Israel, the National Defense Authorization Act, that comes up every year. It's passed every year to fund the Pentagon, the budget, and all their policies. And the NDAA has passed the House. It's now in the Senate. In it is a deal with Israel that they're going to set up a special office to fast track military technology incoming from, and a lot of this technology is coming, they use a lot of our technologies, then they make adjustments, retrofits, and then they're setting up this office. So these new technologies that Israel uses or might be adding to them, and obviously the Colonel can explain this a lot better than I can, when it comes back, it helps us because they test this all in live operations. Now, the MAGA people, the anti-Israel MAGA people, not us regular MAGA people, they're acting like this is going around Congress. This NDAA that they pass every year, the National Defense Authorization Act, every year, they could pull it out next year. They could pull out whatever they want. But Israel is going to be providing the technology on drones, cybersecurity, missile defense, etc. And Israel does a lot of live combat testing for us with our hardware, and maybe they're adjusting it, and we're getting some of this information back. And it's very helpful, and it probably saves us a ton of money. And when I'm listening to the anti-Israel MAGA talk about this online, they don't mention that we have in the same bill, this NDAA, there's other partnerships. Australia with submarines, Taiwan with special arms sales and training, Japan, joint missile development. But they make it out like this is a special deal with Israel and Israel only. And they're losing their minds, and they're all over social media talking about it. And you know what? Maybe I'm missing something, but I got the right guest to tell us what this is all about. Retired Colonel Kirk Schlichter, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks. I'll tell you what you're missing. You're missing how deeply stupid so many people in our movement have become. Okay? There are a few little indicators that immediately throw up the red flag that you're talking to a drooling half-wit. If he says the word Epstein, he's an idiot. If he starts talking about Israel or utters the word Zionist or blames the Jews for anything, his misfortunes, his failures in life, his inability to sexually satisfy a woman, he is an idiot. We are, and we've given a platform to far too many stupid people. And it's time to stand up and look them in their beady, dull little eyes and say, you're an idiot. You like Thomas Massey. You listen to, these podcast morons, and you're stupid. Shut up and let the adults do the thinking, because you've clearly failed to surmount that minimal barrier.
Well, Colonel, I think we could leave it at that. And
there we go. Thank you.
Glad...
Try the veal.
Yeah, you know what?
That's my time.
Listen, I put it out there, and you could have come back and you could have said, well, they're right on this or wrong on that. But I was I'm on the same page, and
your gut instinct that these are stupid people is correct. Now, statistically, we're about half of America, so statistically, we're going to have stupid people among us. The fact that you are generally on our side of the political divide is an indicator that you're a little smarter, a little wiser than average. But there's always the tail end of the bell curve, right?
Yeah.
And that's where these guys live. They live back there. There's the front, and then there's the hump, and then it goes down, and it trails off and off and off, and then you get to the people who are talking about Epstein. They're talking about the Jews. And I can't pretend that they're not so stupid that I could in any way communicate with them. Okay? Now, look, I love a good conspiracy theory as much as anybody else, right? Although I don't believe in them because I've worked for the government and I know it's too stupid to pull one off. But some of these, I mean, what is the malfunction in these people that makes them run towards some invisible, all-encompassing, mysterious, amorphous evil that no one can put their finger on and there's no objective proof of? But darn it, I know, it's the Jews who are doing it. It's Epstein who's doing it. It's the Israelis who are doing it. Oh, USS Liberty, Durhee. Oh, God.
I'll add a little psychological profile to it. I think it's a lot of the people who are on our side, who were on our side, they have what I call LTQ, low trust quotient. They don't trust anything, even in their own lives, about anything. And now they invest so much emotionally into Trump, and then they don't get, I don't know what they want. I don't think they would ever be satisfied because it would just lead to the next conspiracy. But
well, you're right. Now, if you look at Donald Trump objectively, you're going to see a politician who has had more success through his aggressive attempts to achieve his agenda than anybody ever. I mean, I'm a Reagan guy. Reagan signed my commission in the Army. I love Ronald Reagan. He never did a lot of the stuff Donald Trump did. Of course, it was a different time, a different age. He was here now, who no way do. But that's not the point. The point is Trump has success after success after success. And these guys are like stunned that, oh, this one thing I wanted didn't happen. Oh, this other thing I wanted, it didn't happen right away. Why didn't Trump wave his magic wand and arrest all the people I don't like? Without any kind of actual charges other than, I don't like you, you're bad, it must be treason, because I'm too freaking stupid to read the Constitution to know what constitutes the crime of treason. But I heard somebody say treason and it sounds good, and either I'm stupid or the people listening to me are stupid, but somebody's stupid.
Well, when you talk about that, that's another thing that frustrates me, and we're on the same page. Of all the things going on lately, this is the fight I like to have. Meaning, again, like an internal fight with this percentage of our party, and they frustrate me. And I actually think we should throw more fire down on them to get them to back off, because they're definitely not helping Trump. They're not helping MAGA, and they're not helping in the midterms. And and when you said arrest, that's another thing. They think that Donald Trump was going to come in and just send out police vans to start pulling other Democrats out of their homes and taking them to a gulag. It just doesn't work that way. But they have a tough time figuring that out.
Now, of course, I was a trial lawyer in Los Angeles for 30 years, among my other things. Between writing for Town Hall and being in the Army and books and stuff. I've argued in federal courts, including the Ninth Circuit. I know a little about this stuff. I have, a basic understanding of things where you can't just declare somebody guilty because you don't like him and throw him in jail. That's not. It is not. But if you look at what Trump has done, the prosecutions, which are proper, for instance, John Bolton pled guilty the other day. That's good. They're pursuing other cases. They'll either win or they'll lose. In the civil cases where you have these hack judges from Democrat jurisdictions putting up injunctions and restraining orders and things, they're getting shot down at something like 95% rate. Let me tell you something. If I had a 95% rate in my legal practice, and I was a very good lawyer, if I had a 95% rate, I wouldn't be talking to you now because I'd be on my island in the South Pacific that I own, sitting under the palm trees, being brought drinks in coconuts, I'd be so rich. Nobody bets these numbers. You get somebody incredible like Harmeet Dillon. Harmeet Dillon's track record's unbelievable. I know her from California law. She's an incredible lawyer. We've got incredible people doing work at Todd Blanche, fantastic attorney. We're just killing it. But we met an obstacle and didn't get what we wanted right away. And I can't handle it. I'm going to have to change my pants because I've soiled them because I'm weak. And we're all going to lose, Tim. We're all going to lose. We can't win the midterms. Everything's black-pilled. We're doomed. Shut up. God.
Yeah.
The Democrats, the Democrats just nominated. They just nominated a guy with a Nazi tattoo, right? Who throws around girls. And admit he likes to go punish the primate in porta potties. And you think we're going to lose? You think he's going to win? You think the people of Maine are going, oh, well, this guy's great. Okay, a few gray-haired ex-hippie burnout liberal Democrats are going to do it. Yeah, but normal people are going, nah, I think I'm probably not going for the guy with the Nazi tattoo. Just me. But it's not just me. It's most people. And then down in Texas, you have that little weird Alfred E. Newman blasphemous demon guy. The guy who's like, hey, Texans, I don't like meat, and God has 50 genders. And, this is my girlfriend, wink, wink. Her name's Beardy.
Yeah, Tallarico.
Look, I am sick of people who are dumb. I am sick of people who are embracing doom. I am sick of people who don't have the maturity and the patience to do what we have to do to win, which is fight today, fight tomorrow. It's never going to end. There's no stopping it. History doesn't quit when we're ahead. And if you don't have the guts for the long haul, get in the back with the women and the children and the livestock. The men will be up front doing the fighting.
Another great point. They think that it's like a 4-quarter football game and they're in their fourth quarter and they think the game ends. And that's not how politics work. It's not how the country works. It's a continuous fight. Yeah, you sum that up perfectly. You're hitting on all the points. Let's go to your home state now of California. Where are we today and where are we going?
California is a one-party state with an election system that's designed to allow cheating, and that's going to persist until it gets overturned somehow, whether the voters hit bottom in California, and we all know how long it takes a drunk to hit bottom, or the upcoming Supreme Court decision, another win, which is going to point out that at least in federal elections, you've got to count all the votes. You can't take votes in after Election Day. It's going to be a long haul. But frankly, look, California is full of communists. I don't know how it happened. I got here. My family's originally from Pennsylvania. I'm from the heartland. But, I've been in California for 55 years, got here when Ronald Reagan was there. California used to be a dream. It was the greatest place on earth. We allowed a bunch of communist race hustlers and sexually dysfunctional wine women to turn into the nightmare it is. It is a very leftist place. But this election with Spencer Pratt, Steve Hilton, and everything has shown the rest of America what happens when you elect Democrats, which is it's one man, one vote, one time. And then they're going to change the system to enshrine cheating, to ensure their power, and then it becomes a whole lot more complicated to remove them. So I'm perfectly happy for California. Well, I'm not happy California is one, but if it has to be the nightmare it's become with, hobos taking dumps on our front yards and, express trains to nowhere and, Governor Patrick Bateman, we can at least provide a cautionary example to the rest of America. You vote for the Democrats, you're voting for California's dysfunction.
what I'm concerned about, and this is the vibe I'm getting. So I'm a Florida citizen now. I still have my home where I was born, not the home I was born and raised in, but born and raised in New Jersey, where I raised my kids. I still have a home there. I kind of feel New Jersey or the blue states are going bluer. That's my concern. Like they're all like, look at Maine, what's going on in Maine. Look at like with Texas, with Tellurico. New Jersey is a lost state. I'm not saying that they're going to lose in those elections, but New Jersey, I'll just stick to New Jersey because I agree with you. I think we're going to win Maine. I think we're going to win Texas, but New Jersey seems to be California. And I think it's going blue.
It's been left for a long time. There are a couple Republican congressmen there. I think one of them has completely disappeared. I don't know what's up with that. It wasn't so. I know it wasn't so long ago. You guys in New Jersey elected Chris Christie. Well, that's a mixed bag, ain't it?
Yeah. Yes.
But look, the leftists in these states are going to do everything they can to maintain and hold power. What's going to change people's mind over time is their utter failure. There's not a successful blue state. Now, Gavin Newsom will come out and go, California is the most prosperous state in the country. And I got to agree, for a guy like me, look, I'm an ex-trial lawyer. I drive a BMW. I live a mile from the beach. You think my liberal neighbors let hobos, junkies, and scumbags in my town? Oh, I don't live in Los Angeles. I live in a beach city. You think our cops are gonna be like, oh, sir, please come right in? No, they're gonna say, y'all turn around or you're gonna end up in a ditch. And that's the way a feudal system works. There's the serfs, which is everybody else, and then the minor nobility, which I guess I am, because it's become a feudal system. Either you're really well off or you're very poor. So when people come to, you come to a place like where I am today, I ate lunch today on a veranda looking out over the Pacific. It was super expensive, but it was really nice. No hobos, no scumbags, no losers. And if you walk around and say California is a disaster, people look around and go, I see a swaying palm tree. I don't think it's a disaster. But you go 5 miles east to one of the schools where every face isn't white, and you'll have about 5% of the kids reading to standard. Yeah. The Democrats are condemning an entire generation to poverty, and they don't care.
They don't care. And Philadelphia is a prime example. 70% of the kids don't read or write at proficiency. 70% with 32 to 34,000 per student. Colonel, can I hold you through the break because I want to talk about Iran with you? Can you hold with me?
Sure.
We'll go to break. We'll come back with Colonel Kirk Schlichter, retired. He's going to go. We've done the domestic stuff. Now we're going international. We'll be right back after this break.
This is a special notice to all U.S. taxpayers with back taxes owed to the IRS. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, you may now be eligible for relief through current IRS initiatives for struggling taxpayers. In some cases, taxpayers may qualify to reduce as much as 99% of what they owe. You may already be experiencing wage garnishment, liens, levies, or audits and be unaware of this important information. Call Guardian Tax now to see what relief you may be eligible for at 800-404-6851. By taking action today, you may be able to stop all collections and resolve your tax problem before your tax problem gets worse. Tax experts are standing by to review your case and fight to slash your debt dramatically. Don't let your tax problem get worse and miss this time-sensitive opportunity. Check your eligibility with Guardian Tax now. Call 800-404-6851. 800-404-6851. That's 800-404-6851.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call us now. $30 billion was set aside for meso victims. And in most cases, your claim is settled out of court without a jury trial. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
If clutter is costing you time, fix it right away. Closet Factory designs and installs custom storage for closets, pantries, and home offices. Schedule a free design consultation at closetfactory.com. Closetfactory.com.
Babbel proudly presents the Sheep Cheese Fiasco.
Cute market. Ooh, cheese. Let's get cheese. Cheese, cheese, cheese. Hola. Quiero una oveja pequeñita.
¿Una oveja pequeñita?
Sí.
Bueno, pues tengo como 20.
Oh, no. But they're cute.
Don't let your Spanish fool you. Avoid bringing home the farm with Babbel, the award-winning language learning app.
Can you make us some cheese, please? Oh, cheese. You're not cheese.
Practice with Babbel's guided conversations based on real situations. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will have you speaking conversationally in as little as 3 weeks.
Yes. Oh, you're so sweet.
Get up to 50% off on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's 50% off at BABBEL.com.
You don't need another opinion, just the facts.
What caused that crash on the Schuylkill? Will it rain before the kids' game? What happened at the school board meeting last night?
At KYW News Radio, we don't take sides. We take notes, delivering the information you need to make the best decisions for your family.
The news you need whenever you need it.
Depend on KYW News Radio, Philadelphia's most trusted news leader for more than 60 years.
Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group doesn't need Google to know you're worried about retirement. Between inflation, rising taxes, and the uncertainty about Social Security, he understands. That's why he offers a complimentary retirement second opinion. It's a no-obligation meeting for you to talk about your concerns about retirement. You want to know if you're going to be okay? Let's find out. 610-894-7415 or go online, retirereadyfg.com.
Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
Experience matters, especially when you're making an investment in your next vehicle. At Lexus of Cherry Hill, they've built their reputation the right way. Veteran and family owned and operated, and recognized as an 8-time J.D. Power dealer of excellence for the customer sales experience. From the refined Lexus RX to the powerful and capable GX, you'll find performance, luxury, and reliability in every model. Visit Lexus of Cherry Hill in Mount Laurel or lexusofcherryhill.com. Lexus of Cherry Hill, doing business the right way. For J.D. Power of excellence information, visit jdpower.com/US-DOE.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Now you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
Welcome back to 1210 WPHT. This is the afternoon show with Tom Azelby, and I'm talking with retired Colonel Kurt Schlichter. You can find him at townhall.com. If you like what you're hearing today, you can read a lot of his different articles covering what's going on. So, Colonel, we covered what I call the MAGA malcontents. We covered the domestic issues. Now we'll get to Iran, and I'm looking forward to your opinion. My first thing I want to bring up, though, which I thought was cool, not that it was cool that an Apache helicopter was shot out of the sky, both by the Iranians, but they sent in that U.S. Navy drone boat. 2 hours later, it's unmanned, and they rescued the crew of the Apache attack helicopter. I think that was kind of new to people, maybe not for guys who have been in the military, but I thought that was a pretty neat rescue for America.
Well, The American military has capabilities that most Americans have never imagined. It can do amazing things. And look at the result of the amazing things the military has done. We're having a giant thing about one Apache helicopter being damaged and having to ditch. If it had to crash, the guys wouldn't have survived. A drone hit it. It was damaged. It went down. They got out. Thank God. One aircraft, we have lost fewer people in 90 days of war with Iran than we lost in the first 90 in any average 90-foot stretch of beach at Normandy.
Yeah.
The overwhelming military success of the United States has been remarkable. There are stupid people. America's losing. We're being defeated. Again, that's Epstein did it level of stupid. It's just not so. Now, what is Trump's strategy here? Because it's not exactly a strategy I would follow. Well, if you want to read what I have to say, I'm graduating the Army War College up in Carlisle. You can go read it at Town Hall tomorrow. It's about 2,700. I think it's my longest Town Hall column in 13 or 14 years writing for them. But I really wanted to try and explain to people what Trump's strategy is and how he's using the levers of national power in ways that the prior foreign policy establishment did. Now, doesn't mean I agree with all of it. I would lean more heavily on kinetic. I do more military stuff. And a lot of people think so. But the idea that Trump is out there, he's trapped and desperate for a deal. He's going to give away the store. I've been told he's given away the store for the last 2.5 months. And yet, he's supposed to be throwing in the towel. Where's this towel? I don't see it being thrown. The idea that, first of all, the idea that Trump doesn't understand that the Iranians are, unreliable negotiation partners is so dumb that I don't even know how to. I don't even know how to deal with somebody who starts off with the premise that Trump's being fooled by these guys. Yeah, Trump, the guy who's despised the Iranian mullahs for 45 years, has suddenly become a sucker. The guy who makes deals for a living as a New York real estate developers going to get rolled by a bunch of pedophile goat herders. Oh, yeah, that's going to happen. No.
Yeah, I hear you.
Strategy, not mine, but there is one.
Yep. Here's a question. I only got about a minute and a half, and then I got to go to break. But I do want to say they should read that article because you lay out what his strategy is, and I'm assuming, Colonel, that you give what different strategy you might use, and so that's an article we're taking a look at.
The strategy is the same. The tactic, the methods used to achieve it are different, and that's important.
Right.
The strategy has to be regime change. You're not supposed to say regime change because it got a bad name. Shouldn't have a bad name. Regime change is how things have worked for 5,000 years of human history. There's the enemy. You go and you kill the leader. You put somebody in who is acceptable. That's what we need to do in Iran.
We got 30 seconds. How do you see this thing wrapping up? And I don't even know if you want to make that type of prediction, but where do you see it going, and how do you see it ending?
I'm sorry, I got a buzz here. They decided they're going to test my iPhone's ability to buzz for some reason. I think freaking geniuses.
That's all right.
How do I see this ending?
Yeah, well, and I'm not. I kind of look at it as like a chronic disease that we will contain it and punish it with chemo on an as-needed basis. Okay,
I think we can cure it, and we cure it by imposing the new leadership, and that's by getting the Iranian people to rise up, hang all the mullahs, and create a government that doesn't want to murder everybody else on earth.
And we'll leave it at that. That's retired Colonel Schlichter. You can find him at townhall.com. Get his full opinion on what's going on in Iran. Thank you, Colonel. We got to go to break.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-979-3535. That's 800-979-3535. 800-979-3535.
To 15-year-old Harper, buying an $80 vintage rock t-shirt is a great investment. To Harper's mom, this logic has a few holes in it. So she helped Harper open a Wells Fargo Clear Access banking account. With no overdraft fees and tools to track spending, Harper's learning, one heavy metal tee at a time. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Terms apply. Visit wellsfargo.com/deposit disclosures for fees and details.
Air conditioner, oh air conditioner, will you make it through the summer? If you don't, it'll be a bummer. Start your spring off right. We got huge rebates if that budget's tight. This is Jonathan Cans, and I am not a poet. I am, however, the third-generation owner of Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning. We are the mainline's oldest family-owned HVAC company, and we are not private equity-owned. But we are experts in rebates, big ones. And right now, there are up to $2,300 in rebates available. Contact us at marvinecans.com. That's marvinekans.com.
Maybe it's time to take a fresh look at everything we thought we knew about landing a great job. For instance, what if phenomenal careers start at the middle school science fair instead of at the job fair? If being the captain of the robotics team means just as much on a college application as being captain of the football team. And if knowing the quadratic formula is every bit as important as knowing the right people. Well, the fact is, the jobs of the future will be heavily geared towards science, technology, engineering, and math. In other words, the future is STEM. More opportunities, better pay. And the road to these great jobs starts as early as middle school. So if you're a student, talk to your school counselor about STEM. If you're a parent, talk to your kids. Because the job you'll get in the future may very well depend on what you do today. A public service message from America's Navy.
D&K Appliances is a family-owned and operated business for 3 generations located in Newtown Square and Flourtown. D&K Appliances offers one-stop shopping, providing delivery, installation, and service of top brands like GE, Thermador, Wolf, Bosch, Speed Queen, KitchenAid, and Whirlpool for your kitchen or laundry. D&K Appliance sales associates are industry experts, supporting customers every step of the way. Visit D&K Appliances, the dependable difference. Newtown Square and Flourtown showrooms, or visit dkappliances.com.
Summer means vacations, road trips, and spending more time on the road with family and friends. Before your next adventure, make sure your vehicle is ready with United Tire's 4th of July sale. Through July 3rd, receive an instant $104 savings on any set of 4 tires, plus free road hazard coverage on trusted brands like Michelin, Goodyear, Continental, and more. It's one of the best tire deals of the summer and a great way to help keep your family safe on the road. Visit your local United Tire today. Don't drive alone, drive United.
WPHT, HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
Welcome back to 1210 WPHT. This is Tom Azelby in the afternoon show. I hope Newman Price didn't take offense to he's our, I don't know, what would you call him, our music director or creator with that great song. And I compared him to Phil Spector's talent, not Phil Spector himself. I don't want Newman Price being upset. I was complimenting him because Phil Spector really did put out a lot of great music. But I'll tell you who just put out a lot of great radio is the Colonel Schlichter, retired Colonel Schlichter. He's like, he's kind of like if you were a manager of a fighter, you just get him in the ring, and when he goes in, he just starts throwing haymakers, and you just you don't even yell instructions to him. He is just delivering punch after punch, and in 3 minutes the round's over, and the opponent is not standing. That's why I love him as a guest. He always brings it, as they say. He brings it, as they say. Okay. Hey, 855-839-1210. If you didn't like anything about what the Colonel had to say, because I liked nearly everything he had to say, if not everything, I thought he was spot on, especially about MAGA. Not all of MAGA, a small percentage of MAGA. But if you disagree, the phones are open, 855-839-1210. Give us a call. Okay, here's something that this always bothers me. The blue state people, the Democrats, they're always saying that we're paying for the red states. If it wasn't for us blue states, you would all be poor, naked, and hungry. That's how they portray it. Well, the reason they do that is because they're elitists. It's in their blood, and there's elitists in red states too. But there's something I like. Even you could get a barista in a Starbucks who will act like they're 10 times better than you because it's a mentality. Elitism is a mentality. It doesn't mean what your wealth is or where you hang out or anything. It is a mentality. There are people that, oh, well, you belong to that country club, you drive that car, like you're an elite. No, that's not what it's about. It's not about that at all. It's the way you think about other people. It's the way you think of the world. So anyway, these elitists, a lot of in the Democratic Party are always trying to say that much of the red state money, that they fund the whole country from Los Angeles, New York to Chicago. I have a few minutes and I'm going to break that down for you, because when someone brings that up at some cocktail party or you're hanging out with your suburbia friends and one of them is drinking, some Karen is drinking their red wine or their skinny little husband, and they start saying how well these blue states do to take care of all the red states. Well, it's not true, because the way they calculate this, much of the red state money from the federal government goes to giant military infrastructures and bases in red states. So there is an outflow of money because they put a lot of military bases there. Another thing, red states have a lot of farmland, okay? They feed the country. There's not a lot of suburban sprawl and apartment buildings out in the red states where all the fields are, where we grow all our food. And the problem with that, so how that skews the number, if you don't have people slammed into suburban sprawl or apartment buildings, you have fewer taxpayers sending in money to the federal government. So that's also going to skew their little statement that they make. Another thing, red states have older populations because a lot of young people move into blue states. So a lot of people retire into red states or rural areas and they get out of all the craziness and they get more Social Security and Medicare because they live in rural communities and it's cheaper to live there. Here's another thing. Red states, they host big federal facilities. Some of the biggest federal research labs, our national parks, our federal land management, our big federal prisons, these get big federal payments from the red states because nobody in Bergen County wants a big federal prison slammed down in the middle of the North Jersey outside the George Washington Bridge. It just doesn't work that way. And you don't have one slammed down on the main line of Philadelphia, a big federal prison. They put them out in rural areas, what happen to be red states, and that's why, and it costs a lot of money to run those big facilities, all those national parks, all the federal land management. They're all getting big federal payments to run that for the federal government. Here's another thing. Red states, disproportionate amount of veterans. Montana, Alaska, Alabama, West Virginia, Wyoming, military pensions, veteran services, VA hospital, all paid for by the federal government. That money all feeds into those states. Why? Not all of it, obviously. They have higher proportion of veterans. So, of course, they're going to get more veteran money sent to those red states than they get sent to blue states. Here's another thing. Farm subsidies, crop insurance, risk coverage, conservation programs, disaster assistance. Yes, some of the farm subsidies, you could say it is a form of socialism, but the government has to feed the people. They have to feed the people, and they give a lot of benefits to farmers to keep growing the food. Because human beings, if they miss 9 meals, and everyone has heard this before, there's anarchy. So there's a lot of federal dollars that go out to these rural red state areas so they can keep supplying the food to all the blue cities in this country. And that's how it works. And once again, when you hear that, oh, us blue staters are paying for all you. No, you're not. It's nonsense. Here's another thing. Energy is heavily produced in red states. Los Angeles, Texas, North Dakota. Government does provide tax cuts and deductions for producers. So that shows up on that balance sheet that the people in the blue states like to brag about. But they wouldn't have any gas, they wouldn't have any electricity for their computers, and they wouldn't be keeping their lights on in the blue states because a lot of this energy comes from red states. Red states grow your food, they pump your gas, they power your cities, and they staff your military. And the bottom line is with this argument is the money and services flow both ways. Doesn't mean we don't need the blue states. People in red states are on the right. Never say to blue state people, we don't need you. We don't need anything you do. We never do that. But they tend to do it. And it's just one of those things that just bothers me a little bit. Let me bring in the Millennial Roundtable right now. Justin, I hope you'll participate, even though you're Generation X you're Generation Z. What are you again?
We'll call, because I'm like right on the border. We'll call myself a Zillennial. How about that?
A Zillennial. That's even the Zillennial Roundtable, and I'm the table, obviously.
What is the cutoff? Like Gen Z is the ones.
I think it's like
they ate the
97
Tide
is
Pods, right?
the first. 97 is the first year of Gen Z, and I'm 98.
Have you ever had a Tide Pod?
Can't say I have. Otherwise,
then you might be a millennial.
Oh. Yeah, because you would have eaten one by now.
Yeah, I agree with Tom.
I don't think I would be here speaking if I tried a Tide Pod. I'll be honest with you.
No, you can digest them. I tried it. It's not that bad. I forgot about the whole Tide Pod things. But anyway, this red state, blue state thing, it doesn't happen that often. It just came up I hear it every once in a while. But it so irritates me. And I just read someone fighting with someone on X about it. And of course, I'm like, this is such nonsense. That's why I went off on it. But I think we got to shut the round table down because we got to go to break and we got to take a guest.
Yeah, I think our guest is calling in right now.
Okay, let's go to break and we'll be back with our guest.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Hey, this is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. How many times are you going to listen to my voice before you finally go to investorschooling.com? I can't believe you haven't signed up for a class yet. You're going to learn real estate investing. You're going to learn stock options trading. You're going to learn things about money that you didn't even know existed. Go to investorschooling.com right now. Oh my goodness. This Thursday, investorschooling.com, and take that free class. See you there.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. This has been a test of the emergency alert system.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Not yet. Do it today. Okay. At 1210 WPHT.
Welcome back to 1210 WPHT. This is Tom Azelby hosting the afternoon show from 3 to 6. Our call-in number is 855-839-1210. My next guest coming up, I'm going to give a little background on why I'm bringing on my next guest. His name is retired Lieutenant Brian Toohey. Brian was a former retired Port Authority police. And I'll just give you why I'm bringing him on is he's a heck of a good guy, number one. And number two, in 1993, when the World Trade Center had that bomb go off in its parking garage, he showed up at the scene as an officer 3 hours later. And the reason I want to talk about that day for a little bit is because after my interview with Brian, I'm going to talk about Dr. Hamaway, who just won the Democratic primary in the congressional 12th district in New Jersey. That's near Patterson and Montclair. Now, he is tied to this event. He's not tied to the event in the sense that he was a part of the conspiracy to blow up that building, to blow up the World Trade Center. He wasn't involved at that level, but he was involved with the Blind Sheik. And he did go to the mosque. He was an interpreter for the Blind Sheik, and he has a complicated past. He served honorably in the United States Army as a surgeon. So it's an interesting story, and I want to go back to 1993 with Lieutenant Toohey to kind of talk about what that day was like. And then after my guest, I'm going to break down this. He's going to be the next congressman because obviously a Democrat only wins in this district, in the 12th district. But I'm going to try to do a fair assessment of him and what his connection was to the people that did this dastardly deed back in 1993 before they came back in 2001, 9/11 with the plane. So with that, I want to welcome retired Lieutenant Brian Toohey. Lieutenant, how are you?
I'm doing well, Tom. How are you?
It's great to have you. And I want people to know the Port Authority Police, they watch out for every bridge, tunnel, airport, Newark Airport, LaGuardia, the PAT trains, every transportation, the ports, and the Twin Towers, every transportation hub in New York metro area. It's a big job. to protect those things, watch out for those things. Never mind and I know from living in that area, working in New York City, going to New York City often, that the Port Authority police deal with a lot of the dregs in society. It's no doubt about it. It is very, very tough work. Let's go back. I'd like to go back to that day, February 1993. Lieutenant, you're called into work. You arrive at the World Trade Center. What do you think's going on at that point? What do you know? What don't you know?
Well, I was getting ready for 311 toward home, and I saw it on the news, and the police desk called and asked to come in immediately. So we went in right away. Really didn't know what was going on, except there was a lot of smoke and everybody was evacuating. But we were asked to go to our stockroom at Newark Airport where I was working, get every 2.5-inch fire hose we could find, from the stockroom and deliver it in a police van over to the Trade Center because they wanted to start getting the fire stations on every floor back up and running. Because even though it's only a few hours later, the interest is to, once they get everything under control, is to get the building back open again. So that was what I had to do immediately.
And people should know there were 6 people killed that day, and there were over 1,000 injured, many with smoke inhalation, and the damage was about $500 million. It was a 1,300. I'm just reading this in my notes. It was a 1,300-pound bomb that was placed in the garage. Now, I'm wondering if it had been placed in a different spot, could more damage have been done?
I would imagine it could. I think the size of the bomb, I don't think the people that did this, they expected to bring that building down that day. And it didn't come down. And part of what I had to do then after that, the weeks after that, was we were security for the site, and there was different colored IDs that people had to get them access to different areas of the building. And it was right next to the hole. And this hole was several stories deep, and it was actually between the two buildings, I believe, underneath where the Marriott Hotel was. But it was a huge hole, and their objective was to bring that building down. Wow. Now, if you could share with the audience the reason that, of course, the federal agents came in with this. You had the Port Authority police. I'm sure every law enforcement was involved. But explain to the audience and I call them, they're killers, but they're knuckleheads at the same time. Explain how they were able to track down these guys so quick. Well, there was a Port Authority detective, actually, that during the course of the investigation and sifting through everything, they found what was left of the truck that the bomb was in, and they found a VIN number, because VIN numbers are all over the frame and all over, and our detectives who specialized in that knew where to look, and they found the VIN, traced it back to a rental car agency, and that's how they got. They went after the people who rented the van, and that was the people who planted the bomb. And didn't one of the terrorists actually go back for his deposit? Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't recall exactly. There was something. They came back to try to get the deposit they left for the truck. I remember that they actually had the stupidity or the gall to go back and get their deposit. I remember that as part of the story. I don't know if it's 100% accurate. But there were, I think in the end, there were 6 people that were killed, and there were about 5 conspirators, and they all got life in prison pretty much. It was a pretty open and shut case, as I recall. Is that true? Right. That's true. And one of the 6 people killed was actually a pregnant female. So they actually counted the seven killed. Yeah, she was 35 years old, 7 months pregnant. It was her first child. And the fact that you just said before that there was a giant hole there. So their intent was to kill as many people as possible that day, which they did on 8 years later or whatever. Without a doubt. And that was their objective was to bring those buildings down, or at least one of the buildings down. They wanted them to come down. Yeah.
You know, there's we had talked, and we have a mutual friend. Thanks to Officer Rudd for putting us together. And the story you talked about a story about when they were marching these jihadists, I guess the law enforcement, to a plane or a helicopter.
Right.
What was heard that they were saying?
They had, after they had arrested them and had them in custody, they were being transferred to federal custody. So there was Port Authority police detectives, there was New York City, there was the feds, and it was the Port Authority heliport, which was down. You could see the Trade Center as plain as day from where the heliport is in Lower Manhattan. As they were walking them from the vehicles to get into a helicopter to bring them to fly them to whatever federal prison they were taking them to, the guys that the jihadists or the terrorists that they had that did the bombing said, well, we didn't get them this time, but we'll get them. And they were pointing at the towers. So meaning that this didn't work, but their plan was that they were going to get them. That was, and by getting them is getting the towers. They're going to knock the towers down. That was their objective. They failed this time, but they said they were going to do it. They were going to do it again. And
you know that what that reveals to me is when you're dealing with jihadists, hardcore Islamists, it doesn't, like most people getting marched off to, with law enforcement, you're going to the jail or you might be going to the electric chair or whatever. The last thing you're looking at is that the Twin Towers saying, oh, don't worry, we'll get it. We're going to get it at some point. That's such a dangerous mentality. And before I let you go, that mentality still exists today. When you think of New York City, when you're not now today, you're retired, but are you confident with what's being done to stop another event like 9/11? Which that was an interesting statistic you told me, and why don't you share that? How many officers from the Port Authority died that day, and the history of that?
We lost 37 police officers that day, and several more to 9/11 related illnesses since then. But it still is the largest single day loss for a police department in the history of the United States. Now, I'm talking one single day. It's the largest single day loss for any police department in the history of the United States, and it was 37 guys we lost that, men and women that we lost that day.
Wow. It was an awful day, and so was 1993. It didn't compare, but the intent was the same. The intent was to do exactly what they did with airplanes 8 years later. Today, how do you feel about fighting this jihad that hasn't ended now? We're actually in Iran right now. This is a continuous war. It doesn't end, but that's just the way life is. The Port Authority, the NYPD, you think I don't think they're a soft target anymore. What do you think?
No, I don't think they're a soft target. But here's just an example. In '93, they had a truck bomb, and a truck that didn't work in the basement. They had 8 years to plan, and so their planning changed, and the planning went to the airplanes flying into the building. It just shows you that they're just going to continue to come up with ways to wreak havoc and kill people, no matter what the NYPD, Port Authority police, feds, anybody does. They're just going to continue to develop ways to hurt and maim and kill people.
They're a determined enemy. I want to thank retired Port Authority police officer Lieutenant Brian Toohey. Thank you so much for coming on. We're going to go to break, and I'm going to follow up on this story about the new congressman that will be winning in November and heading to D.C. and his connection to this terrible event back in 1993. We will be back in a minute.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
One of the most highly anticipated IPOs is on the way, with AI startup Anthropic announcing that it confidentially filed its IPO papers with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Anthropic didn't release any financial numbers, but it recently raised $65 billion, giving it a private market value of $965 billion, making it more valuable than rival OpenAI on the private market. I'm Jason Brooks.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to LendSeek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities without the daily stress.
Up to $5 million with funding in as fast as 24 hours. No upfront costs. No prepayment penalties. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
You know what I love? American-made products, baby. That's right. It's Rich Zioli. American-made products, and that's what you get from Emmons Roofing and Siding. Owens Corning shingles are made in New Jersey. Certainteed siding made right outside of Philly. Provia windows and doors handcrafted in Ohio. And because Emmons is platinum with Owens Corning, your roof comes with a lifetime workmanship warranty. That's accountability on American-made quality from an American company right in our backyard. EmmonsRoofing.com, EmmonsRoofing.com.
In Philadelphia, Chase is proud to root for the home team because they're our team too. We cheer from the bleachers and on the sidelines. We cheer for gymnasts and quarterbacks. And with more than 80 local Chase branches and 5,000 nationwide, we are right beside you, Philadelphia. Neighborhood bankers, digital tools, national strength. Chase, make more of what's yours.
JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Searching for a new path to wellness? Dr. Molly Fantasia explains how medical hydration therapy can help you reclaim your energy. Listen to Health Watch, Sunday mornings at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
My obstructive hypertrophic cardiomyopathy kept me from baseball games with my boys. The stairs were too much. With Camzyos, my symptoms have improved and I can be more active again. Camzyos is a cardiac myosin inhibitor, the first in its class to treat adults with symptomatic OHCM. Camzyos may improve your symptoms and ability to be active, and it reduced obstruction in the heart 4 times more.
In a 30-week study, Camzyos, mavacamten, reduced post-exercise obstruction on average 47 units of pressure versus 10 with placebo. Results may vary. Camzyos may cause serious side effects, including heart failure that can lead to death, a risk that's increased with serious infection, irregular heartbeat, or with certain other medicines. Do not stop, start, or change medicines or dose without telling your doctor. You must have echocardiograms before and during treatment. Seek help for new or worsening heart failure symptoms. Camzyos is only available through a restricted program. Before taking, tell your doctor about all your medical conditions and current or planned pregnancy, as Camzyos may harm your unborn baby.
Visit Camzyos.com or call 1-855-CAMZYOS. Actor Portrayal.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Welcome back to the afternoon show here on 1210 WPHT in Philadelphia. Tom Azelby here with you to 6 o'clock. Just finished up with retired Lieutenant Brian Toohey. Gave us retired from the Port Authority Police. And let me tell you, those guys have the big responsibility, and they really do deal with some tough stuff over there at the airports, the bus stations. You can only imagine what they're dealing with over there. But anyway, I wanted to remind everybody about what happened in that February back in 1993, because Dr. Adam Hamaway, it's Hamaway is the way he pronounces it. He's a progressive Democrat. He's a plastic surgeon. He was an Army surgeon, and he did serve honorably, and I'll talk a little bit about that. He was born in Egypt, I believe, and he's been here since he was a baby, as he's of the Muslim faith. He won the Democratic primary in the New Jersey 12th Congressional District. Now, that includes Paterson, Passaic, Montclair. I know these areas pretty well. They have, in that area, it's vote blue. The Dems have held it for decades now. It has a very, in recent years, and I'm not talking 2 years or 5 years, but Paterson specifically has a very big Arab Muslim population. I think a big Palestinian population, I believe. But I mean, it's a lot of people from the Middle East settle there in Paterson. And the guy that he beat was Greg Mealy, a Republican. I don't know how he beat him if he's a Republican. It's irrelevant. So the bottom line is Dr. Hamaway will be going to Congress. He will be representing the 12th Congressional District. No one's beating him. That just like no one's beating Cory Booker either. So it's the same thing. But at Rutgers, and I'll say a kid because he was in college, he joined the New Jersey Army National Guard for tuition support. I think he did like an ROTC, and that makes sense. His parents had migrated, I believe, legally from Egypt. They come here, and they were probably, starting out in a new country, like a lot of immigrants do, and the way you do it is legally. And he probably said, hey, I'm going to need help. If I want to go to Rutgers, I'm going to need tuition help. If I really want to be a doctor, I mean, that's a big price even back then. Now it's crazy. But he needed tuition support. That would be my guess. I don't think he came from rich parents based on my research. Anyway, he was a combat surgeon in Iraq. And when the Guard unit in New Jersey, it was a hospital team Guard unit. They got mobilized in 2004, and he served 9 months over in Iraq. That's very honorable. A small world connection. He was part of a surgical team that saved Senator Tammy Duckworth after her helicopter shot down. Today, she lost both her legs in combat. And I think she's even quoted as saying that he had a lot to do with saving her life. So this is very admirable what he did here as a soldier, as an officer, as a surgeon, serving the country over in Iraq and actually saving Senator Tammy Duckworth's life, or at least working on her after that critical injury. Today, he's a Princeton plastic surgeon. I think he's a wealthy guy. He's got a nice big house. Nothing wrong with that. But he is a Democrat. And here are some of his policies and his plan as a congressman. He wants Medicare for all. You should know that plastic surgeons are paid in cash. So it's kind of a nice contradiction. He doesn't have to worry about getting, Medicare and Medicaid payments because he only gets paid in cash. He's looking to abolish ICE. He wants a wealth tax. He wants a wealth tax on everybody. I'm assuming as a plastic surgeon in Princeton, New Jersey, he's doing very well for himself. I would audit him because a lot of those plastic surgeries are done for cash. That's just me. If I was an IRS agent, I might do that. He's a big climate action now guy. He's for free childcare, free college, cancel college debt. He wants more free housing. Basically, he's a hardcore Bernie bro AOC kind. He wants to end all weapon sales to Israel. He believes Israel is committing genocide, and he wants an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. And I'm not surprised. He's running in New Jersey, and I kind of look at New Jersey as a failed state now. And I know that upsets everybody. Oh, we got to fight. Well, we're not fighting it the right way. We're not going to, with the Republican machine in New Jersey today, with their style of fighting, how they do it, you're not winning anything. And but that's unfortunate, but that's true. That's how I see it. So anyway, this is what you get in New Jersey. But now I want to get into Dr. Hamaway's connections to that February in 1993. Like, what does he have to do with the truck bomb planted in the World Trade Center? What does he have to do with that? And I'm going to tell you about that. First thing, his political campaign, it was funded big time, which I understand, by American Priorities. Interesting name. And I don't know, I heard numbers up 1.5 million, 2 million. It's a pro-Palestinian super PAC. I think that's an odd name for a pro-Palestinian super PAC. American Priorities. Palestine is not a priority of America, regardless of what's going on over there, whatever. Like, Palestine is not an American priority. Neither is Canada, for that matter, anymore. And it's funny. I was talking with the Colonel before about what I call the MAGA malcontents, and I use that word because General Grant knew when Lincoln made him the head of the army, and he wanted him to now go and win. He had done such a great job out west. Grant was like, man, there's all these officers, a bunch of malcontents that don't do what they need to do to defeat the South, and I'm going to have to purge these malcontents. I don't know, I'm drawing a comparison. But anyway, the Tom Massey lovers who are always talking about AIPAC, well, maybe you should take a look at American Priorities too. See what they're lobbying for. And I always try to tell MAGA, or the people that are in MAGA that love to talk about AIPAC, that Koreans have their own type of AIPAC. Taiwan does. Indians do. Armenians do. When you're an American citizen, you can organize and put money towards the country that you like, love, support, were born. That's a First Amendment right in the United States. I don't want to get too far off track because I want to get back to Dr. Hamaway. As a young man, 1991, he was 21 years old. He traveled often to Jersey to listen to the Blind Sheik. Blind Sheik was one of the conspirators to blow up the World Trade Center. They all came to his mosque. It was the Al Salam Mosque in Jersey City. I actually once lived in Jersey City for a short time. Okay, 6 people are killed. They injure over 1,000. Smoke inhalation, damage $500 million. As our retired lieutenant told us, that put 3 stories hole in the ground. That shows you what their intent was. So there were 4 conspirators plus the Blind Sheik. And like they said, the guy went back for a $400 deposit, and that really was why they were able to nail that guy really quick, like 2 days after the bombing, finding the VIN number on the axle. The Blind Sheik would go on trial, and he would die in prison in 2017. 4 others are still in prison. One guy actually escaped to Iraq, and they've never been able to find him. He's on the FBI's most wanted leader. But the Blind Sheik was their ideological leader. He wasn't loading up the van, renting the van, or putting whatever the bomb material in the van was, because he was blind, and he was in his 50s. And all these other conspirators were in their 20s. They were in their early 20s to late 20s. And he was their spiritual leader from the mosque. So Dr. Hamaway at the time, also in his early 20s, would also travel to this mosque to listen to the Blind Sheik. So he traveled in the same circles as the guy, allegedly. Let me say allegedly on all this. He's a rich plastic surgeon. I don't need him looking for me. So allegedly, Dr. Hamaway was in the same circles. The doctor was a translator of speeches from Arabic to English, and he did this on the behalf of the Blind Sheik, who he was a fan of. And in those speeches, they were, people have seen what was said in those speeches, and they were extreme. Americans were pigs, so were the Jews, all that kind of over-the-top rhetoric being preached in a mosque or written down to be mailed out to followers. The speeches were full of fatwas, like jihad on Americans. Just think of that. You're in the United States. You've left some difficult circumstance in the Middle East, and now you're in the country that accepts you, either gives you asylum, lets you come in on a visa, whatever it is, and now you're preaching fatwas and jihad on your hosts, on America. Unbelievable. So anyway, this Dr. Adam Hamaway allegedly was translating these Death to American speeches back when he was a young man. He once drove the blind sheik in a van to Detroit for a conference, and they were in the van for 13 hours. It was an Islamic conference, and basically it had it was about the economics of the Middle East or the Islamic people, something about economics. But in truth, every speaker, and they have reports on this, every speaker was up there just declaring jihad. That was their economic solution, was jihad on the infidel. And the Dr. Hamaway was at that conference. Allegedly, that's all they were talking about at the conference in Detroit at the time. And this is prior to the truck bomb going off in '93. When the blind sheik was arrested for contributing as a conspirator in this attack in his trial in 1995, Dr. Hamaway at that time was now 26. I believe he was a resident in medical school. So the whole thing, he was only a college kid. Now he's gone to medical school. He's 26 years old, and he comes in as a character witness for the doctor, for the blind sheik. He comes in as under oath, and he said the blind sheik was a peaceful man. This is what the next congressman from New Jersey said, that the blind sheik was a peaceful man, but he's the translator who translated a lot of his speeches about, get the infidel, and was at took him to a conference, hung out with him for a few days, and then listened to all the speakers talk about doing jihad in America. So this is on his track record. Do the voters in that part of that district in New Jersey, District 12, do they care? I doubt they do. I don't even know if they know all this, but I know it now because I took interest in this, because I remember that 1993 bombing. I actually worked in the World Trade Center at one point when I lived in Jersey City. So it's hard to believe that Dr. Hamaway was just young and naive and made a big mistake. I mean, it could be part of it, in all fairness. He's 56 today. But anybody with some basic instincts, you're going to medical school and now you're a resident, you knew who these guys, you heard the speeches, you did the translations. At 21, maybe you got sucked in a little bit because you were angry and, pissed off at the world. And you're like, yeah, I'm being disrespected or whatever. But then you go to Rutgers, you go to medical school. Now you're a resident. Now you're going to come back and put your neck out for the blind sheik. But what bothers me, if he wasn't the translator and he didn't have all that information of what this guy was saying, I have no clue why the guy would do that. I'll tell you, that's reckless. If it cut off at 21, he went to med school, never went to the mosque again or whatever, but to come back at 26 to be a character witness, I find that very disturbing, very disturbing. I want to go to my crack researcher, consultant, Matt Desantis. What else we got on this guy, Matt?
There's one other report that I thought was kind of interesting. This was in the New York Post a week or so ago. So Hamawi apparently worked in Bosnia doing work for a foundation whose later was discovered had ties to Al-Qaeda. So that's not great. And I know you mentioned his opposition to arms sales to Israel, but he's also gone on record saying he would oppose Israel's Iron Dome missile defense system. What I find most disturbing about that opposition specifically is that he openly concedes that Iron Dome is a defensive instrument and not an offensive weapon. So he's basically just opposing Israel's ability to, repel attacks from Hamas and Hezbollah or the Iranian authorities. Now, you're 100% correct. I don't see any way in which he doesn't ultimately win this congressional seat. The person who holds it now is Bonnie Watson-Coleman, and she defeated Darius Mayfield in 2024. She won 61-36, so 25% gap. And the guy he's running against now, who you mentioned, is Greg Mealy. He has popped up as a candidate for one office or another in basically every New Jersey election cycle since 2018. He's running as the Republican in the general this election cycle. It's his 7th time running for office across multiple districts. He's run as an independent, a libertarian, and as I mentioned, now he's a moderate Republican, but there's basically no pathway for him to win.
Well, a lot of the lawyers do that for branding. Like, no chance of winning, but you go out, you meet a lot of people, and say, "Hey, here's my legal card. Give me a call." That's the only thing. That's the only thing I could think of, and it does make sense. You know, you throw your hat in the ring. They might dream of winning every once in a while, but they know it's a lost cause. But it's good branding for them. But I'm not surprised that district that he's coming from, he's going to win. But he's against the Iron Dome. That's interesting. The Jews should be bombed at will by the Islamists, if that's what he thinks. But that's why I'm in complete depression about New Jersey. And I'll say one more thing about New Jersey that I've seen, especially in South Jersey. Each local town has flipped left. Not everyone, but so many have flipped left, and they've gone all left, and they haven't gone Democrat. They haven't gone like that traditional Democrat. We got to take care of the town. We got to take the sidewalks, the trees, make sure the police budget works. They go in there in South Jersey, and they want to talk about every national issue, climate action now, abortion. Donald Trump is whatever they're saying about him, but it's New Jersey's in rough shape. That's the bottom line. With that, I think we're ready for a break, and then we'll come back.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. If you're like me, dental visits meant cleanings twice a year until suddenly they didn't. As teeth age and wear down, small issues can become complex problems. That's where expertise matters most. At Bentz Dental Group, board-certified prosthodontist Dr. Robert Bentz and Dr. Emily Bentz specialize in advanced and complex dental care. They deliver precise diagnosis and customized treatment plans designed for your long-term health. Call 610-272-6949 or visit BentzDentalGroup.com.
In Philadelphia, Chase is proud to root for the home team because they're our team too. We cheer from the bleachers. And on the sidelines, we cheer for gymnasts and quarterbacks. And with more than 80 local Chase branches and 5,000 nationwide, we're right beside you, Philadelphia. Neighborhood bankers, digital tools, national strength. Chase, make more of what's yours.
JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new break you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-1424. 800-499-1424. 800-499-1424.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
Now you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
Welcome back to 1210 WPHT. This is Tom Azelby on the afternoon show. I'll be with you till 6 o'clock tonight. I'm going to go through, I have a quick segment for you here, but this one's a heartbreaking one. It's, and I might skip the clip. It was Austin Metcalf, the young kid that was killed at the track meet by Carmelo Anthony. I think they're both around 17 years old, but Carmelo Anthony was put on trial, and he was just sentenced to 35 years to life. And you probably heard about the incident. The two brothers were there. They were in their track tent. Carmelo Anthony came over, started from another team, started sitting in their tent. Next thing you know, they start arguing, you can't sit here. And Austin was stabbed in the chest and went right into his heart. It was a pocket knife, but a pocket knife can be deadly, especially if you hit the right organ in the right place. This became a very racial a crime in the sense, it became a black-white thing, unfortunately. But this is an awful. It was an awful murder because that's what it was. It's a tragedy. It's a waste of a young man's life, and now another young man's life. He will get sentenced to 35 years. But when I went to look at this case, these were my findings. Carmelo Anthony, the kid that's going to be going to jail for the rest of his life, or 35 years. He's now, I think, 20 years old or 19 by the time they had the trial come around. But it's been very controversial. There's because when race is involved, that's what happens in America. That's unfortunate. That shows how poor our culture is, that that's how we look at things, is by race. That's not from our side. That's from the left. That's what they do. That's how they stay in power. But he did. I wanted to know if this kid came from a bad home, a home without a dad. A lot of young black men have homes without dad, and you need a dad in the home as much as possible. Thank God I had one, or I would have been a problem to keep the screws to me, as they say. Some guys don't need that. Some guys do, and a lot of young men do. He was the captain, so the other two boys, I'm not going to go through Austin Metcalf. They sound like great kids, great athletes, could have played football in college, I hear. Carmelo Anthony was also the captain of his high school football team and the track team. His mom and dad were married. The dad was a finance kid, came from a very stable home, did not have a street gangster mentality, doesn't look like that at all. That's why this is so awful that it ended this way. Carmelo's family is wounded because their kid's going to jail, but the Metcalf family, they're destroyed. They got nuked. That's what happened here. The only thing I can think of, it was like he didn't want to look weak in that tent. And when you're 17 and your brain's not fully formed, that this confrontation with them about leaving the tent had him draw that knife and stab him, because he didn't have a history of this. He was suspended for a pocket knife, but that was it. There was nothing else. Teachers liked him. Coaches liked him. Not making an excuse for him. He committed murder. He's now paying a huge penalty. It's just one of those stories that I think is just awful. With that, we got to go to break, and we'll be right back.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Philadelphia without using your own money? You'll learn to flip houses and secure rental properties in your spare time to get on track towards real wealth building. We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Philadelphia for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text INVEST to 64,000. Philadelphia is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Philadelphia and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text INVEST to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text INVEST to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text INVEST to 64,000.
Summer's heating up, and so are the deals at Tri-County Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Right now, secure 0% 0% financing for 60 months on a new 2026 Ram 1500. Or drive away in a 2026 Jeep Wrangler now with 0% financing available. With over 125 new vehicles, we have the perfect car for a road trip or for cruising around. Stop by during our Make This the Summer event to get your next Jeep at 422jeep.com or visit us at 15 DNL Drive, number 100 in Limerick. With approved credit plus tax tag title and any other governmental charges, expire 6/30/2026.
There's a reason that potato chips don't come in a clear bag.
There's only 8 chips in this bag.
That's why. It's only about 2/3 full. The rest is air. It's a lot like opening up your 401k at retirement. You get about 2/3 of it, and the rest goes to Uncle Sam. Jim Cipriotti at the Retire Ready Financial Group can help. His tax mapping process can help forecast what your tax bill will be in the future, and that way you can build a strategy now to potentially decrease your tax bill in retirement. In other words, more for you and less for Uncle Sam. Call today for your complimentary retirement tax mapping report, 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415, or find them online at retirereadyfg.com. And get Uncle Sam's greedy hands out of your retirement.
Hey, you've had enough.
With a complimentary tax mapping report from Jim Cipriotti. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC, NPN number 2083768.
Looking to elevate your home with timeless beauty? At Suburban Marble and Granite, a proud veteran-owned business, craftsmanship meets premium quality. They source only the finest imported stone from around the world, perfect for kitchens, bathrooms, slab walls, outdoor spaces, and custom projects that truly stand out. From design to installation, their team delivers A+ service and stunning results every step of the way. Suburban Marble and Granite. Endless possibilities, spectacular results. Visit suburbanmarble.com to get started today.
With police came several hours after a 30-year-old man from Sudan appeared in a Belfast court charged with attempted murder in a stabbing attack that left a man seriously injured and triggered anti-immigrant violence. It's the first new ultraviolet filter for sunscreens in more than 20 years. The FDA announces it's added an ingredient to its list of what's permitted in sunscreens. It's engineered to sit on top of the skin, not penetrating deeply, but still preventing UV rays from causing damage. ABC's Sony Salzman.
I just can't emphasize enough how much dermatologists and the broader skincare community have been clamoring for this for so long. And I think the bottom line here is that American sunscreen is about to get a huge upgrade.
The ingredient has been in sunscreen in other countries for decades. Honda recalling more than 800,000 vehicles because rear suspension components may fail, increasing the risk of a crash. China's passenger car exports jumped 73% year-on-year in May to around 809,000 vehicles, says a Chinese industry group. Higher gasoline and diesel prices due to the war in Iran raised interest in electric vehicles. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Hot summer days and high energy bills are on the way. Upgrade your home's old leaky windows this month during Window Nation's Buy 4 Get 4 free sale. Yes, half of your new beautiful energy efficient windows free. Plus no money down and no monthly payments or interest for 2 years. Call now 866-200-8670 or windownation.com. In select markets, trust our family of brands, New South Window and ArmorView. That's 866-200-8670 or windownation.com to book a consultation.
When you need them, your local volunteer fire department routinely answers the call. Whether it be a fire, traffic accident, or a cat stuck in a tree, there is always someone there for you. However, because of declines in memberships, departments are becoming understaffed and struggling. Here's how you can help your neighbors and your community. No matter what skills you may possess, you can make a difference. Your local volunteer fire department desperately needs your help. Can you direct traffic? Install a smoke alarm, help at fundraisers? Your community needs you. You don't have to fight fire to be a volunteer. Will you make that difference? Will you answer the call? Brought to you by the National Volunteer Firefighter Recruitment Center, a program service of the Volunteer Firefighter Alliance. For more information on how you can help and make a difference, visit www.nvfrc.org. That's www.nvfrc.org.
WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia from the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Now, The Drive at 5. 30 minutes of nonstop talk from Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And Justin, that is. Join Tom this Tuesday and Wednesday on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Wait a minute, was it a switch? I don't know what he had.
It was like it seemed like it was a multi-tool, almost like a Swiss Army.
Like with like with the little scissors and everything and whatever. So it was small. Well, I would have argued the size of it alone, you wouldn't even think it's a deadly weapon.
And that's forgot it had the bag.
If it was one of the little, like I don't know, like I do think.
Well, that's why he went to his coach and was like, but I don't think I heard him that.
Okay, so that's the rocket scientist Jasmine Crockett, who is from a congressperson out of Texas. Wow. I didn't, you know, the question was, we were talking off the air for a minute and Justin was saying, who brings a pocket knife to a track meet? That was the same thing I thought. Why is it in your sweatpants to begin with? But let me ask you guys, they must have taken pictures of the knife and it must have been publicly shown. Is it, it wasn't a Swiss Army knife, correct?
No, I believe the blade, from what I read, and I haven't seen it, is 4 inches. So it's a decent sized knife.
That's standard.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's standard. That is the one that they sell all the time. Like that is like if you have a work knife or whatever. And the one thing where she's out of her mind saying like, oh, it's such a small knife, like it couldn't do damage. A 4-inch knife. Why you could say this is no doubt about it, first degree murder, whatever the murder charge was, it definitely wasn't manslaughter. To thrust a 4-inch knife, you know, through the sternum into the heart, that means you are looking to do serious damage. And this kid did, and he hit the exact spot that he shouldn't have, but the amount of force to get to the heart through the sternum, that takes a lot of pressure. That's somebody who's hitting you in anger and they are looking to do whatever they want at that moment. Now, the only thing I was saying about this kid, Carmelo Anthony, is his track record, his family, it wasn't typical. He seemed to have it looked like he came from a good family and he was well raised. And that little 17-year-old brain just got him sent to prison for 35 years. And obviously Crockett doesn't know what she's talking about. She's out of her mind. So I'll leave it at that with her. I do want to just talk about, I'm going to get into Graham Plattner now. He's just such a great subject to talk about. And the women abuse that he's been charged with. I want to do a comparison to Brett Kavanaugh, what he went through. But before I do that, I think our President Trump, had something to say about Graham Plattner, who just won his primary and will be going up against Susan Collins. So let's hear what Trump has to say about Plattner.
They're dumb. They're Democrats. They have the worst policy of anybody. I watched that thug that's up in Maine. He's a thug. And they're trying to make excuses for him.
For that one, guys?
I mean, he's worse than any human being that's ever run for office, probably. I don't know him. I don't want to say bad, but I just, look, I mean, nobody's ever had a record like that. And you'll have Schumer. He goes crazy over this or that, or Epstein.
These are connection.
This guy. Why are they talking about him?
I have a lot to talk about. Graham Platinum.
We don't know.
One of my favorite subjects.
Did we lose you there for a second? Could you not hear it?
Going here, if the audience is still listening.
We can still hear you.
Can you hear us, Tom?
Let's throw it a commercial break and give Tom a chance to reconnect.
We'll be right back.
Mall to Blackwood. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code BOOST to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code BOOST to borrow up to $10,000. Use code BOOST to borrow up to $10,000.
Hey, this is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Listen, I know sometimes you worry about coming to see me because you don't want to invest in real estate, because you don't want to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants. I'm going to teach you a way that you don't have to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants, or even own any real estate and invest in real estate at the same time. You want to learn this, so go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday, and I promise you, no toilets, no trash, no tenants.
I finished a 5K in 94th place, right after a man wearing jeans. They still gave me a medal. I don't want a reward for doing, I want a reward for dominating. Like Daily Prize Matcher on Bet365. I play for free and win real rewards, like up to $5,000 in cash weekly. Unlike that joker in denim. Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically present in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. T's and C's apply.
Streams are where our kids play. And dogs splash. Many provide the water we drink. But are those streams clean and safe? For most local streams, no one knows. That's a problem. One the Isaac Walton League of America can help you solve with the Clean Water Challenge. To learn more and get involved, visit iwla.org. That's iwla.org.
Free speech lives here. With Dom Giordano, weekdays noon till 3 on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
Welcome back to 1210 WPHT. This is Tom Azelby. I'm back. We had a little technical difficulty, but our producers, it's like the Delta Force. They are on it, and we are back up and live. That's how these guys operate, and it feels like we got it taken care of real quick. Is that correct, man?
I hope so. It seems like we're having internet connections in the
Shocker,
studio, so
I know.
the issue is almost certainly on our end.
Of course, I run a very tight studio down here. I can't. But all I'll say is the team responds very quickly, and that's all that's important. If the whole building is burning, I know you guys are going to stay in there and fight to keep me on the air.
I don't know about that.
It's critical. You're supposed to pretend you're.
I mean, sure, yeah.
Of course. Anyway, Trump was talking about Graham Plattner. So I'd like to play his clip, and then we'll continue to throw Graham Plattner under the bus as soon as Trump's done throwing him under the bus. So let's go to that clip.
They're dumb. They're Democrats. They have the worst policy of anybody. I watched that thug that's up in Maine. He's a thug. And they're trying to make excuses for him. I mean, he's worse than any human being that's ever run for office, probably. I don't know him. I don't want to say bad, but I just, look, I mean, nobody's ever had a record like that. And you'll have Schumer. He goes crazy over this or that, or Epstein. This guy. Why are they talking about him? He said, well, we don't know, but this guy's got a rap sheet. I've never seen anything like it. He's a thug. I know thugs. I had to deal with thugs. I built a lot of buildings. I dealt with the toughest people on earth. I dealt with worse than thugs. This guy's a thug. He's a low-level thug.
You know, so Trump is definitely on the right path here, describing Graham Plattner. He's a rich kid. I'm not saying super rich, but went to the prep school, got thrown out. The tattoo, we all know it. There is something wrong with this guy. There is something wrong with this guy. And the Nazi tattoo, all Marines know what kind of tattoo they put on their chest. This guy is a little bit off. He's a little bit disturbed, and he does have PTSD because he's on full disability plus with back issues or whatever, but he's full disability. And I'm not saying he doesn't have some military PTSD, but even before that, there's something not right with this guy. And whatever he has is something that should disqualify you from ever being a senator in the United States Senate. And it basically, forget him. This guy's got pathology issues. I don't even know the right word for this guy, but he's definitely a case study. I will say that. But let's compare how the Democrats reacted to Kavanaugh. Okay, you remember the Christine Blasey Ford? She accuses Kavanaugh when he was 17 of sexually assaulting her. Supposedly, they were at a high school party, and Kavanaugh jumped on her and groped her, and according to her, tried to take her clothes off till another friend jumped on the bed, and they all fell off. It seems a little odd, but that was her story. And then the guy that jumped on the bed, his name was Mark Judge. He had no memory of this event happening. Now, the reason I'm going back to Kavanaugh, because I want to compare and contrast how the Democrats dealt with it. We all know they're hypocrites, but my job is to show you that their hypocrisy has no shame. They will not stop. They have lost all sense of shame. So anyway, Ford couldn't tell you, this Blasey Ford couldn't say, this is when we're trying to get Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh in, and they have this big hearing, a total embarrassment to his family. It's an embarrassment to the country, but the Democrats don't care. They just don't care. No shame. So she couldn't even say who the host was or where the event occurred. She had no idea. She couldn't give that in detail at all. No other witnesses came forward. Even her best friend, I'll name her Leland Kaiser, Ford's best friend at the time, said, I have no recollection of the party or ever meeting Brett Kavanaugh. Kaiser said she was skeptical, this is her best friend, of the charges, and then felt pressured by Ford's political. So the woman's political kind of conspirators to take down Kavanaugh, she was like, there's something, I don't even believe her, and she was my best friend. So no one could vouch for her on Ford's story with Kavanaugh. No one could vouch for her at all. Now let's take Graham Plattner, okay? Today, there are 2 female witnesses on record. And this story came out of the New York Times on June 4th, okay? So New York Times is the Democratic Bible. And even this is what they had in their article. A woman by the name of Lindsay Fitfield. She was the girlfriend of Graham Plattner in 2013 and 2015. The accusation is Plattner grabbed her by the shoulder, left marks on multiple occasions by yanking her or grabbing her shoulders. He also pulled her out of a cab, twisted her arm once behind her back, and then held her in a bedroom holding the door after they had one of their kind of arguments or whatever. And she just came on the record and told the New York Times that. Lindsay, this woman Lindsay, unlike Ford, the Ford lady who tried to get the Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh booted. This woman, by all accounts, can provide when it happened, dates, times, and locations. Then you have another girlfriend, Jenny Rassicot. And listen, this is after all the nutty other stuff this guy's done and the Nazi tattoo. Like this is just more. And the Democrats are like, oh, well, he's still pretty good. He's going to do a good job for us. It's lunacy. So Jenny Rassicot, what does she say? She's the girlfriend from 2007 to 2009. And he was living in D.C., Plattner, and I didn't know why. It's because he dropped out of George W. Hey, a lot of people drop out of college, but this guy got booted out of prep school, then goes to GW and tries to go on the GI Bill. That doesn't work out, so now he's a bartender. So this woman, Jenny, reports said he grabbed her by her throat, pushed her up against the wall, and continued choking her. He slapped her in her face once and threw her on a floor in their apartment. And this woman, she can tell you the building, it was the Adams Morgan neighborhood, and she says it happened more than once. Now there's a third person who wanted to remain anonymous. She said Plattner choked her in anger a few times. She spoke with the New York Times. She just didn't post it online on Facebook. She spoke with the New York Times. That's what I read, allegedly. And what she said, when he was angry or drunk, this was his behavior. And all these victims all told friends and family members exactly what happened. Kavanaugh's accuser, Ford, didn't tell anyone. She told the therapist in 2012, 29 years later. You know, someone will say, oh, well, that's common in those situations. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I don't believe her. That's the bottom line. I don't believe Ford. Never did. I never did in the past. When I heard it, I didn't believe it. But here you have Democrats who believed everything Ford had to say, but they don't believe these women. And, you know, you start thinking it's like more of a problem with Democratic men. Doug Emhoff, Kamala's husband, allegedly a woman who wouldn't give her identity, but people know who she is. She was a New York attorney. Her name was Jane, and she was in France, and he thought she was getting too friendly, flirting with the valet. And Doug Emhoff, Mrs. Kamala Harris, ends up slapping her right across the face, right outside when they're waiting for a car. 3 friends confirmed when it happened. They confirmed they heard about it immediately. And that's what the Daily Mail reported, that she did have 3 people that heard about the slap soon after. So here we get Kavanaugh. He gets savaged on decades-old charges with no witnesses or reliable evidence, totally humiliated in front of the country, his family, the world. Not one other woman has ever charged Kavanaugh with anything. This guy, Plattner, just had 3 women come out against him. 3 women came out against Plattner in the last week, actually told the New York Times what he did. And I'm trying to think of with the Kavanaugh case. They literally had no one coming to vouch for Ford. No one. Plattner has 3 accusers with detailed information on his behavior, on his violent behavior. And you know what? They're still going to run this guy. Maybe they won't. I can't imagine that they don't replace him. Maybe, but because what I understand is the Republican side has not released their opposition research yet on this guy. This is all coming from the left, from the Democrats, and from, you know, everyday people who were involved with this guy. They now, the Republicans, I don't know what they have, because they have opposition research. This is a Senate race in Maine, an important one. Don't doubt that there's not another shoe to drop, and it might not be a shoe, it might be a hand grenade, and this Plattner guy will be replaced. We're going to have to wait and see. I just wanted to draw a little comparison to what happened to Kavanaugh and what the Democrats know about this guy. With that, we'll go to break.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
Bring on the fun and bring home a new Honda with a great deal on your favorite Honda vehicles. And finally, take that road trip you've been dreaming of. Now's the time to check out the Honda Civic and HR-V from Honda, the 2026 KBB.com best value brand. For a limited time, well-qualified buyers can get a 3.49% APR on a 2026 HR-V.
Visit Piazza Hyundai of Philadelphia, Langhorne, Pottstown, Reading, or Springfield today.
See dealer for financing details. Based on 2026 Consumer Choice Awards from Kelley Blue Book. Visit KBB.com for more information.
This is the sound of Jack, buzz cutting his way to a small fortune. To Jack, every time he cuts his own hair, that's $50 right in his pocket. If Jack sees DIY buzz cuts as a saving strategy, Wells Fargo is right behind him. And with their mobile app, tracking his savings is easy. Oh, ouch. However you make money work, we can work with that.
Mobile carriers' message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
This is Jordan Lundy.
And this is Len Lundy. Lundy Law has won billions for our clients.
But more importantly, we've won the trust and confidence of thousands of people injured in motor vehicle crashes, slip and fall accidents, and work-related injuries.
My son and I hope we never meet you because of an accident. But if we do, we're here for you.
Remember our name, Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW or visit lundylaw.com for a free consultation.
You matter, and so does your well-being. If you're facing tough moments, struggling with anxiety, depression, thoughts of suicide, or substance use, help is here anytime you need it. Call, text, or chat 988 for free confidential support. New Jersey's 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is here 24/7 for you or someone you love, with trained counselors who listen and care without judgment. You matter. Remember New Jersey's 988. A message from the New Jersey Department of Human Services.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Giving your liver a spring cleaning is easy with Active Liver from New Nordic. Search for Active Liver by New Nordic on Amazon, CVS, Wegmans, or GNC.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT from the Piazza Auto Group studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations.
All right, welcome back to 1210 WPHT in Philadelphia. We are not in New York. We are in Philadelphia, but we're doing a little Knicks talk right now. And I'm going to be bringing on Mike Spenley. Mike is a former sports play-by-play broadcaster. Today he's a voiceover guy. We'll definitely have to give a shout out for his voiceover work. And listen, I know you're all 76ers fans, and the Knicks routed them. But this is an interesting series and is worthy of talking about it. And we're going to talk to Mike Spenley about it because he is a huge Knicks fan, and he was the Knicks ball boy in the 72-73 season when they won it all. Mike Spenley, welcome to the afternoon show in Philadelphia.
Hey, thanks, Tom. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Oh, it's great. I love that you were the Knicks ball boy in the 72-73 season. And how'd you get that gig? Because I have a similar story. It's not as good as yours being a Knicks ball boy, but if you grew up in North Jersey, which we both did, there were a lot of opportunities that came out of New York for kids. There was no doubt about it. So how did you get the ball boy job?
My dad actually knew a guy, actually a big guy named Ben Carnival. He's former NYU basketball coach. Mr. Carnival had a contact by the name of John Golden. He was at the Garden, so he set up an interview with me for me. I took the good old red and tan bus line from northern Jersey, went into the city, and Goldner, I sat at the Garden for 3 hours. He wouldn't even see me. I went back the next day, and after 2 hours, he didn't have a chance to see me either. So I stood up and I said, listen, am I going to get a talk to here? Am I going to get a look-see? And what's going on?
Yeah.
And when I said that, Red Holzman heard it, the famed Hall of Fame coach of the Knicks, and he came out of his office, and he respected that I stood up for myself. And he said, here, report to the Garden next week for an exhibition doubleheader, and the rest was history. I worked 2 years with the Knicks, the 72 and 73 seasons. So my mouth actually helped get me the job, bro.
That's pretty – how old were you at that time?
I was a senior in high school. I was 17. So I worked my senior year of high school, and then my freshman year, I was going to go to Boston College. The Knicks asked me for a second year, so I ended up going to Manhattan College so I could be with them. Both years, Tom, we were in the finals. I went to L.A. with them year one. We played the Lakers both years. We lost in 5, and then my second year with the Knicks, we beat them for their last championship, by the way, in 1973.
Wow. And let me tell you, what a starting 5. Earl the Pearl, you had Walt Frazier, Reed, Dave the Busher, and Bill Bradley. Like, they are famous names. Maybe they are to me because, I grew up there. But an interesting thing, like the luck of being in North Jersey and the connection to New York is I used to cut a guy's lawn and I used to clean his pool. And he was the head usher at Yankee Stadium. Next thing you know, at 14, I'm vendoring at Yankee Stadium selling Knish, sodas and peanuts.
Sure.
And it was what a great gig. And that was something fascinating about being out in New York. And you got a taste of it. You're down there in the Madison Square Garden at 17, down on the bench with those legends. So tonight the Knicks go up against the Spurs. It's game 4. I know you're a big Knicks fan, and I know you're a sports guy. What do you think's going on tonight?
Well, tonight it's strange because game 3, obviously the Knicks lost by 4. A home team has yet to win a game in this series, and I think that'll change tonight. The Knicks didn't play well. Everybody's talking about the foul situation and what went on with the game the other night. But the Knicks played a really poor defense, and they let Wembanyama get to the roll to the rim almost at will. Nobody checked him as he was going down the lane. If that continues, it's going to be a tough game. But I think the Knicks will correct that, and I think the Knicks have to get some all-around shooting from their offense and not keep the ball in Brunson's hand as much. They have to get OG and Mikal Bridges back in the offense, especially Bridges, who got into early foul trouble the other night. Never really had. He started out 8 for 9 in game 2, and it really got the Knicks and him off to a great start. So we'll see what happens tonight. But I think they'll change the tide. I think the Knicks win tonight and then go back to San Antonio looking to clinch on Saturday evening.
So this is it's interesting, and for the Philly fans, if you're not watching this series, it's exciting, and me and Mike are going to share why you should be watching. There's 3 guys from Villanova here in Philadelphia. All 3 of them played together at Villanova, and they're now trying to bring a championship back to New York for the Knicks. That's pretty interesting. That's an unusual thing that you got 3 guys from the same team playing in the NBA together, correct?
It really is. And listen, they won 2 championships. Jalen Brunson still talks really fondly of Philadelphia, as does Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges. So, hopefully I will get the chance to talk to those guys. I do a podcast that I started this year, and it's done very well here. It's on YouTube. It's called From the Bench, a Knicks podcast. Cool. And my wife really got me interested in this and said, listen, this might be the year. So she talked me into doing it. I just dropped my 34th episode. It would be a very cool thing if the first year that I did a podcast, the Knicks would win the NBA championship, similar when I sat on the bench. So let's see what happens, man.
What a great way to start a podcast with under these conditions with this season. Now, another reason I think Philly fans or people should watch this, even if you're not a huge basketball fan, is this Victor Wemby or Wembanyama. This guy is 21. He's 7'4". He plays for the Spurs. 7'4". And if you've never watched basketball, if you want to watch a 7'4" man play like a point guard with crazy skills, that's one reason to just check out this championship game.
There's no question about it, Tom. He has skills. Some people compared him to Lou Alcindor then, as he became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and he does have similar skills, similar body type, but Kareem could not dribble and shoot a three-pointer. In those days, they didn't have it, but his skills are unbelievable. He's a terrific ball handler, good spot-up jump shooter, and he can actually hit the three. And he has the longest arms I've ever seen in the NBA. If he gets the ball 8 or 10 feet out, he's automatic. So with his dunks, and he's a terrific shot blocker. He's caused some issues with some elbows and stuff like that. But to be honest with you, I think that's because he's so frail that he's been beat up for a couple of years, and it's just reacting and showing that he can hang in the league. So he might be overreacting. Skills are immense, and he's absolutely fun to watch, even though we're competing against him. He's going to be the face of the league for the next few years. And if he doesn't win the championship this year, and he may, if he doesn't win it this year, he's going to win several because he's that good, and he'll be the face of the league for years to come, Tom.
Yeah, and that's why I'm telling people in Philadelphia, if you haven't watched NBA basketball, getting a chance to watch this kid, it's fun to watch him, and it's fun to. And let me tell you, it's fun to watch the 3 guys from Villanova out there, man. This is an interesting series. Question for you, Wemby, if you're going to make a draft choice, Wemby versus LeBron in his prime, who would you draft?
You know what? That's a hard question because I've seen Wemby and I've only seen Wembanyama. I've seen LeBron rather. I got to be honest. Even going against what LeBron has done, because of what he can do, I'm almost going Wemby. I know that might surprise people, but I'm going Wemby.
That would make a good podcast, breaking that down. And that's why. Just break that down with everybody. That's actually a great topic. We're going to head to break, but before I let you go, where can people find the podcast? And then I'm going to have one more question for you. Where's your podcast?
The podcast is on YouTube. It's called From the Bench, a Knicks podcast. And I have 34 episodes. I started right when the season started. It's on YouTube, buddy. From the Bench, a Knicks podcast.
That's great. Now, for the final question, and you might have given it already. What's your prediction for who's going to win the championship? What's your prediction?
I actually think that the Knicks are going to win in 6. I think they're going to win tonight. I think Game 5 in San Antonio is iffy, and I think if they lose that, they come home and they win at MSG for their first championship in 53 years and 32 days.
That's good stuff. We got to go to break. Mike Spenley, great having you on the show. And let me tell you, it's worth checking out this NBA championship. If you haven't been watching basketball lately, if you want to come back, there's some interesting players out there on the court. We'll go to break. We'll be right back.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
You don't need another opinion, just the facts.
What caused that crash on the Schuylkill? Will it rain before the kids' game? What happened at the school board meeting last night?
At KYW News Radio, we don't take sides. We take notes, delivering the information you need to make the best decisions for your family.
The news you need whenever you need it.
Depend on KYW News Radio, Philadelphia's most trusted news leader for more than 60 years.
Summer's the season for fresh starts, and nothing transforms your home like a brand new kitchen. Since 1979, Kitchen Magic in Nazareth has been a family business built on quality and true craftsmanship. This summer, we're making it easier than ever. Save 40% on installation, plus flexible financing to fit any budget. 4 decades of local families have trusted us to get it right. Now it's your turn. Visit kitchenmagic.com and make this the summer your kitchen finally gets the upgrade it deserves.
TurnersvilleJeep.com wants to save you money at the pump this June with a brand new Jeep Cherokee Hybrid. Not worried about gas prices? Then check out our huge inventory of Wranglers, Grand Cherokees, or Ram trucks, and Dodge Durango.
Equipped with V8 engines.
Don't have a down payment? No problem. We work with dozens of banks who offer 0 down payments and no payments for 90 days to qualified buyers. Just minutes from all bridges or online 24/7 at TurnersvilleJeep.com. Again, that's TurnersvilleJeep.com.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So, yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds, too. Get a quote right now at 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or biglou.com.
When you shop Goodwill, you don't just bring home a vintage dress or cat lamp. You bring home so much good to your community because everything you buy funds local job training and more. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
You can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
Welcome back to 10 WPHT. This is Tom Azelby on the afternoon show with my producers and co-contributor, co-hosts, Justin and Matt. Guys, what do you think of Mike? He's a former play-by-play guy. What do you think of his voice?
I said to Matt immediately, as soon as he started talking, I said, "Oh yeah, I can tell this guy is done play-by-play."
Oh, yeah. So I got a project for you guys. I'm gonna have DeSantis work out the contract. Justin, I'm gonna need you to do the technical things. I've made a deal with this guy that everything I say is gonna come out in his voice when I do the show. We're gonna have to get that algorithm done. And it's going to cost us a little bit. It's going to cost all three of us, but I think this is going to really take the show to a whole new level. That would be really cool though. Like if I was just doing my whole show now and there was technology, that when I spoke into the microphone, it came out like Mike's voice.
I bet we could make it happen.
I think there
I know
already
you guys
is
can make it
technology that can
happen.
make that
Yeah,
happen.
artificial intelligence
Of
will allow
course.
you to do basically anything at this point. We could definitely, we could figure this out for the next time you're hosting.
We could have what about the contract? You got to negotiate that.
Yeah, that's true.
This guy's like anybody. They'll be like, oh, they want my voice. Then they'll start charging you a ton of money. So we're going to have to. No, that's how people are. They're like, wow, they love my voice. They want it. But
He did.
actually, go ahead.
I was going to say he did start a fight between Justin and I.
I
I thought you asked an incredibly interesting question. Wemby or LeBron? I instinctively said LeBron, no brainer. You got to go with the top 5 all-timer locked in. Wemby, I mean, he's very good, no doubt, but there's still some question as to how great he could be. Then Justin says, no way, you got to go Wemby. Yeah. So now we've just been arguing in the studio for the last 5 minutes.
No, I listen, and that's why I said to Mike, he does a podcast on basketball and the Knicks. I mean, you could do a whole podcast on that. That's what those guys do in sports. They'll just start breaking it down. Wemby can do this. LeBron couldn't do this. And then of course they'll say LeBron's a crybaby. That's another problem. I mean, you could get into all of that, I actually think that would be a good podcast, but I thought it's good every once in a while to kind of divide and conquer. That's what I did there between you and Justin.
I don't know if you've seen in the YouTube chat, it did pain me a little bit to talk about the New York Knicks. I'm wearing a 76ers hat right now. Of
course. Listen, I tried to tone it down. I tried to relate to it. Were they all going crazy in there about why the hell is he talking about the Knicks? Go ahead, tell me.
No, there's actually some people that are there were a couple shout outs to the Knicks, so you've got some Knicks fans in there.
Yeah, no, and it was more about this championship game than me picking sides or anything like this.
It's been the best NBA Finals in years.
It's certainly the most hyped, too. I think a lot of it has to do with Trump in attendance. You had Mamdani in attendance. It's the one thing that brought them both together.
Yeah, and you know what? If Trump... And I'm hearing a little bit of an echo. Are you guys hearing it? I hope the audience is.
Could be a VMix thing. We're all right on our end. As long as you can tolerate it. Yeah.
Listen, I just have to listen. I'm a professional. I got to tolerate it. I got to do what I got to do. So I was an intern at Senator Bill Bradley's in D.C. Okay, when I was in college. It back in those days, even if you had a sub 3.0, around 2.2, you could still become an intern if you were friends with the guy that ran the Irish Bergen Association in Bergen County, New Jersey, meaning the Irish, he was the president, he's a friend of the family, so he had a big Irish block of votes, so he could get you in anywhere. That's how it used to work back in the day. You could be dumb as rocks and you could become an intern for the senator. So when I get there, there's all these kids and they're all raring to go and they make us respond to a letter from a constituent. And I had to respond about testing pharmaceuticals on dogs, and people were upset and they said, okay, let's see how you would respond to this. They want to see how you can write or whatever. And there's probably about 15 interns in the room, and we, a half a day, we all go to a desk and we write our letter. I'm sure my letter was so bad, right, that the head aide comes in at Bradley's and goes, we need a volunteer because I knew, I'm like, oh my God, no one's going to want me to work with their team. Like you'd get assigned it. I'm like, that letter, man, I wasn't too good at it. I think it was hungover. And it wasn't, listen, I might've been hungover. That letter was never going to be good. Right. So before the guy goes, could we get a volunteer for the mailroom? Right. And before anyone can even respond, he goes, Tom, what about you? And you're not writing any letters to anybody. You're going in the mailroom. And this was so much fun because I'm in the mailroom, but I got to go all over. I was on the Senate floor. I was like the delivery guy. I went everywhere, like walking around the Capitol on the train underneath. And the guy who was in the mailroom with me was Michael Graham, who was a standout player for Georgetown, right? He was in the mailroom because he got thrown out of Georgetown. This is where you send all the misfits. This is Misfit Island in the mailroom in D.C. So he had been thrown out of Georgetown. Of course, Bill Bradley, a basketball player, is probably friends with the Georgetown coach. Who was it? Thompson? So Thompson says, okay, Michael, you can't come to school. You got thrown out temporarily, but you'll come back. Go over to Senator Bradley's office, work in the mailroom with the guy with a 2.2 who can't write a letter, Tom Azelby. And the two of us work in that mailroom. And let me tell you, he was the nicest, very quiet guy. He had a huge smile. And I would tell him crazy stories and he would just laugh. Whatever thing I was up to, he'd just sit there and listen and laugh his ass off. We had such a good time. That was many, many years ago. But anyway, that was my connection to Bill Bradley. All right. So went down a little memory lane there. I was an intern who was a Democrat, by the way. You guys know that, right?
Yeah, he ran. Didn't he challenge Al Gore in 2000 for the Dem nomination? Or am I misremembering?
Yeah, he did. I think he ran for president a couple times. And then he might have gone like an independent path. You know what? He's a really smart guy. And that's a different time when Democrats were Democrats. It's not like today. Bill Bradley, I would have never voted for him, but, I'm a right winger. But, decent man, decent guy, came from blue collar, roots and just played a heck of, and he was smart. He's a Princeton guy.
And Oxford.
And he's an Oxford guy. And let me tell you, the Ivy League basketball is still good today, no doubt. But even back then, when Bradley was there, the Ivy Leagues were some of the top basketball schools in the country. They were really good, really, really good. All right, so let's see what I got next. Oh, I read this thing. Lewis Hamilton, he's a Formula One driver who's dating Kim Kardashian. You guys familiar with him?
I am, yeah.
Yeah,
of course you are. It's on the show sheet.
No, most F1 championships. I actually watch F1.
I don't watch F1. Do you guys follow F1?
I do not. I know Justin loves it, though.
Yeah.
I got a buddy who is, and I won't say his name, and he's a really good buddy of mine, who's a Red Bull guy.
Oh,
right?
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's high up there. My son's actually a Red Bull college rep over in Tampa. He was at the cliff diving in St. Petersburg. He said it was crazy. Red Bull does some crazy fun stuff, especially if you work there. So it's pretty neat. But he was telling me, when you get involved as a sponsor in Formula One, it is big money, like crazy money for Formula One. And that's why I want to talk about this guy, Lewis Hamilton, who's a Formula One driver who's dating Kim Kardashian. Do we have a clip of him that we can pull? Because
we do. It's cut 21, Justin.
Yeah, cut 21. That's it. Because he makes a comment about billionaires, and it's just, I don't want to call it I don't know what to call it, but it's this is something that you should avoid saying, especially when you're driving around in a $500,000 race car. So let's hear what he had to say.
One of the things that I struggle with every day is, and it's just how life is, and it's been the way for thousands of years, that there is such a disparity between wealthy and the poor. And, you still, when you drive around LA, there's still so many people living on the streets. You shouldn't be able to have billions, right? I think there should be a limit to how much you can have, because there's enough to go around to everyone. So somehow creating a law that creates more equality, and equal access for everyone. I don't.
Yeah, well, I got a comment for Lewis. You know what? You're driving around. First of all, it's $500,000 to run those cars and to participate in Formula One. Okay, so maybe he should sell the 2 cars off, or tell the people who sponsor him. I think it's a giant Malaysian oil the country's oil company is one of the big sponsors of him. And I think Mercedes is too. You guys know Formula One better than me.
He drives for Ferrari, and he makes roughly, I think it's like somewhere north of $60 million per year. And not just that, he lives in the tax haven of Monaco.
His net worth is $500 million, by the way.
Yeah. So what is he thinking? I don't get what these guys are thinking when they come out and start lecturing everybody. It's like, don't do it. People are just like, you're a phony, you're a hypocrite or whatever. But let me tell you, you guys, like I said, that's why you guys aren't just producers. You're part of my team. You're my contributors, my co-hosts. Great show today. Thanks for all the help. I'll be headed down to the islands, but I'm making my way back to Philadelphia. Looking forward to work with both of you guys. Everyone, have a great rest of your week and have a great weekend.
And now, Babbel proudly presents The Cat Chat.
Bonjour, monsieur. Yes, hi. I'm staying in room 22, and I was wondering if there was anyone I could chat with about my sheets. They seem to be making me just really itchy. Pardon, vous avez dit chat? Yeah, it's not a big deal. I just want to chat with maybe like the cleaning service, see which detergent they use. Just a chat. Chat. Please, I'm so itchy. Un instant, s'il vous plaît. Matisse, j'ai un client qui demande un chat. Oh, my goodness. I thank you. Just a chat, really, just a...
Voilà.
What?
Sir, you requested a cat to scratch you.
Traveling mistakes can really be absurd. Learn to speak like the locals with Babbel, and no one will mistake your chat for a cat.
Sir, please. Your cat.
Get up to 50% off on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com to get up to 50% off. Babbel.com.
Hi, I'm a designer with Bucks County Estate Traders. Is there anything I can help you with today?
Well, not really. I found a couple pieces I love, but I just don't know if they'll fit where I need them to, or if my partner will like them.
Oh, no worries. Did you scan the QR code? See right there. Just scan and you'll have everything you need on your phone. Pictures, dimensions, you name it.
Get out. That's amazing.
Bucks County Estate Traders in Hatfield. Come shop thousands of amazing furniture, decor, and art finds with